Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Hoopspaces. Today, we entered day 2 of the dog days of summer. The NBA free agency market has cooled off. Trade rumors have cooled off. Most player movement is done. And we're entering that period of time where we don't have what we're used to. And I'm here for it. And hopefully you are too. Shout out to everybody who comes through Hoop Spaces. We can't do what we do without you, the listener. So no matter where you are or wherever you're listening, thank you for spending some time here. And if you missed us, go ahead and head over to YouTube. Put in Hoop Spaces, and you will find us there, powered by audiolabs.io. More stuff coming along the way. We'll be back in a moment. Thank you, everybody, and good morning. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. I hope that wherever you are having a great day. Putting together the last tweet that I want to get out here so I can set the show up. I hope today is the day that Destiny Henderson becomes a full-time player in the WNBA. More to get to in that. WNBA is kicking off their second half of the season to some great games already. And if you haven't checked it out, we have a couple of people to suggest that you follow to help, make the W a better experience for you. Real short, card today. We are entering the dog days of summer, as I stated in the opening. And all that means is that we have an awful lot of time to talk about an awful lot of absolutely nothing. So we're here for that. Also here is Blake TJ Championship. I see you, Breezy, down below. If you can all do us the favor, and I see Mackenzie just popping in and Adam popping in, like and retweet the show card, ladies and gentlemen. That is the only currency that we have here on Spaces to help show engagement and continued growth. Also, I'll be putting up the poll that I put out last night. The Hoops Hype staff writers put out a cheat sheet of the GOAT debate. Now, I'm not saying I work for Hoops Hype. I do not. I might have found out that they had this coming out. And so I put out a question. Steph Curry versus Michael Jordan. Who wins one-on-one? And I tell you what, the one thing that was really odd in this GOAT debate is Steph Curry was not mentioned. But I digress. That's part of the conversation we plan on having. If you are new to Hoop Spaces, welcome. Thank you for finding us. In order to get on stage, all you need to do is shoot us a follow and like and retweet that show card. I'm getting the rest of the tweets up here. Here's the very first one that I did want to share. It is non-basketball related. This came across my desk this morning, and when you talk about bad decisions and privilege, this definitely takes the cake. Here is the poll that we have out. Who wins this one-on-one, Steph Curry, Michael Jordan? Normally, I phrase it differently. I didn't, just because MJ in my mind wins. Also, rumor mill, apparently, possibly, there's a line of thinking out there that Kevin Durant trade request was just a ruse about getting Kyrie Irving traded, which to me is wild. absolutely wild. We have Adam Armbrecht here from Locked On Nets, and we're going to go ahead and ask him. 808s is in the building. We're going to bring 808s up when he is available because we've got some W games today. And I started out in the group chat, the WNBA group chat that we have, with apparently some fiery slander this morning because today is a great day for the Los Angeles Sparks to lose, ladies and gentlemen, to the Indiana Fever, because today is a great day for Destiny Henderson to actually get some reasonable minutes allotted to her. You are a 5-win team, Indiana Fever. Let's do better and get somebody who just won the NCAA championship, some run. Blake has hopped up here already. Good morning, Blake. 808s is here as well. We'll go to Blake first. Blake, say good morning to the good people. 808s pick up right after him. And we'll go ahead and hop into the WNBA talk.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I just want to see violence today in the chat about this MJ versus Steph. Excited to see what people say. I'm really excited to hear the Steph fans come to bat and just curious what their argument will be. But anyways, good morning, everyone.
Yeah, good morning. 808s, good morning. What you got? You really opening the show?
Oh, you said me?
Yeah, you really opening the show up with the losing horns. Like, that's what you want. I think you're addicted to the sound, bro.
Wait, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
I don't know. Was there an issue the first time or some shit?
Didn't hear you.
No, that's crazy. Yeah, Chris, I don't know why you champion the Indiana Fever. It's a 5-22 Indiana Fever. When you haven't even selected your own W team yet,
Well, I'm not championing the Fever. I'm telling them they're a 5-win team, and it's time to give Destiny Henderson some run.
So you just think that's going to happen against, NECA and the crew?
I'm saying it should. They've only won 5 games. Like, what reason can you have to not play Destiny Henderson? You're a 5-win team. Somebody, please tell me why she can't get more.
I mean, she is an NCAA champion and was a key contributor on that team.
She is.
But hey, what do I know?
More importantly, she has something that a lot of players right now in the Fever lack, and that's energy. Like, I watched a couple of replays, and like the body language and lack of energy really caught my eye. That's not a good sign.
Yeah, they've been playing with that all season. I mean, it's been turmoil ever since Coach Knox took over. And honestly, like, for some reason, the first couple of games after, I thought, okay, maybe they're going to turn it around. And then you just realize, nope, it's just the same old team. It's just Kelsey and trying to save everybody for themselves. And it doesn't work,
It doesn't. We have one game at 11:30 a.m. It'll be on NBA TV. Go ahead and put your tweet up that has the schedule, by the way. And if you don't follow 808s, the Snack Breaks, you should. He does fantastic work writing for the W at Outlet Pass, BB, basketball. Make sure you follow him. He's putting out the tweets that have the schedule as well as the times played and the channels you can actually find the W. Why? Because the WNBA can't do it themselves in a conducive manner to make people watch. So there you go. Tonight, we have 2 games. We have Atlanta and Las Vegas, Indiana at Los Angeles. That's 10 and 10:30, NBA TV and CBS Sportsnet. All right. My question, 808s, is when we're looking into this second half, we have 3 spots remaining in the WNBA playoffs. Where we have 5 teams fighting for that said spot. 6 if you want to add in the Minnesota Lynx. Atlanta, Dallas, Los Angeles, Phoenix, and New York. Who gets those 3 spots, 808s?
I mean, honestly, Chris, I said it before All-Star break. I think the Minnesota Lynx have what it takes to make it a push for that last playoff seed. So there's 3 left. I don't know. I mean, Fever pretty much ruled out at this point. I think the Sparks held on to it, but I think out of all those teams, I think the Mercury is one with the question mark. I don't know whether Skylar shows up, which is pretty much every game, and if Diana doesn't, it looks pretty bad. And, Breonna Turner's been great, but she's no BG. Let's just keep it a buck, And I think that's really been a huge part of the just their overall chemistry this entire season, and then the emotional aspect of it as well. But I don't think people are really going to acknowledge the fact that Tina Charles played a huge part on this team when she was there, and now they don't have her, and it's like, we're back to the drawing board, So they're not getting admitted, but yeah, she played a key part, and they definitely miss her right now.
All right. And one question that I do have, right now, the MVP seems to be a three-woman race. And in my mind, I have Breonna Stewart, I have Asia Wilson, and I have Jonquel Jones. Kelsey Plum deserves to be on this list, and she has a chance to lead the league in scoring and lead the league in three-pointers made. If she leads the league in scoring and three-pointers made, do you think she overcomes Asia Wilson as the Aces representative for the MVP award?
No, sorry. I love Kelsey. She's been great, but Asia Wilson is the engine of that team. That team goes nowhere if Asia's having a bad game. Did you just say you had Jonquel Jones as MVP favorite?
In the top three. I think they need somebody.
Oh, there goes the hand from Danny.
They need somebody that isn't getting like the pub, right?
Yeah.
And now she's gotten some pub, but she's not in the forefront like Asia, Kelsey, Sabrina. So like I'm thinking just narrative media driven here that they want someone like her in this discussion to broaden out the discussion, even though they know it's really down to like three people.
I mean, do they really want that though? I mean, just look at it, just the stats. She's down 4 points from her MVP season. So I mean, that just eye test wise, you can't give it to her. And arguably, I got two aces in my top three for MVP right now. I got Kelsey, I got Asia, and I got Breonna. Earlier in the season, Jackie was on a streak that's just scorched earth, and kind of cooled off a little bit, but as of late. But that team still has a three-headed monster, and I still think they're extremely top-heavy. And most teams in this league don't have the depth or the talent to be able to go up against that. Fortunately for the Chicago Sky, they do.
And you know what? We're going to end this before we bring Danny up perfectly because you brought up the Sky. Does Candace Parker have a chance to sneak in and steal this MVP? She's close to essentially, 19-10? If the Sky continue to go on and they have the league's best record and she's the best player, are we looking at a potential swan song MVP type season?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, she's been playing like out of her mind the last, I'd say, 10 games. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but she's been killing it. I mean, there's an arguable case for Depoy before even MVP if you really want to talk about it. I think over the last 7, I got it right now, she's averaging like 16 and a half, like 9, almost 5.5 assists. I don't really know what else you could really want from her or this team. They just won a game without Courtney Vandersloot for the first time in 88 games that she hasn't played. They won a game when Candace Parker went scoreless for the first time in 381 games.
That was crazy.
Crazy. Like
7?
0-for-7. Like, we didn't have Sloot, but you had Maria Johannes come in and she had, I don't think she only scored 2 points, but she had 8 assists and 0 turnovers. 25 assists and 8 turnovers. They lead the league in assist to turnover ratio, assist in general. I mean, every offensive stat, either 1 or 2. So like I said, I don't know what else you can really want from James Wade and this team. They've came out and proved that they aren't going to be 16-16 going into the playoffs, and they have what it takes to show that they have that championship pedigree.
All right, I love it. If you're down below and you want to come on up and talk some WNBA, go ahead, raise your hand. 808 is here for your questions. And if you don't want to talk or you can't and you do have a question, if you look at the bottom right, there's a chat box. Just tap it up there and put it up there. Tag him in it at 808 and Snack Breaks, and we'll get you an answer. And we are here for that because 808, ladies and gentlemen, is doing a phenomenal job making a path and name for himself covering the WNBA. And I urge all of you to not just shoot him a follow. Go over to Outlet Pass and check out his words that he writes. Like, seriously, he writes really well. Although sometimes, like I tell him, hey, you got a phrase issue, but I get it. He's expressing his individuality, and you should actually go along in this journey because I asked you a question. How many times do you get in life to actually meet somebody at the beginning of a journey and then follow through and see how they progress? And I think that right there is something that Twitter and Twitter Spaces, because of the power of social drop-in audio, we now have that ability. So go ahead and check it out. You're not going to be disappointed. Dany, good morning. Welcome to the show. Your thoughts on the W?
Hey, good morning. Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is having a great start to your day. What I want to say about the MVP thing, MVP this year, I should say. I love Asia. Asia's had a steady year. She is the engine, but Kelsey has had one of her best seasons. She's progressively increased her scoring each year that she's been able to play. And it's probably going to go to a guard because we haven't had a guard win MVP in quite some time. I mean, if you go back and look at all the previous MVPs, they've all been forwards or centers. Last year it was Jen Quell. Before that was Asia. Before that it was Elena. Before that it was Brianna. After that it was Sylvia. NECA. Then Deladon again. Maya. Candace won it in 2013. Tina Charles in 2012. Tamika Catchin. I think you see you're getting a draft here.
Is that off the dome?
I know I had to pull it up, but
okay. I'm about to say, damn.
Yeah, I was good.
No, I had to really look at it on my end again, but I do know it's nothing but forwards and centers that have won. I guess if you want to, even like going back to 2005, Cheryl Swoops won in 2005, and I don't really consider her a guard, more like a forward. So, I mean, the last guard that actually won it, we're going back to the start of 1997, 1998. And you know who that was? Coop. The last guard that won MVP. And this is on the WNBA site. So that was the last time a guard actually won MVP. After that, it's just centers and forwards. So I think this year it probably is going to go to Kelsey. I can't find a way to dispute it for her. Like I said, her scoring has constantly increased. She's number one in scoring this year. I had no problem giving it to her. Just because of the fact that it's been forwards and centers has been winning all this year. I mean, ever since 1998. I mean, the list is crazy.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Dany?
Yes, sir.
Because they gave her that All-Star Game trophy.
You know what?
They owe
her.
They owe her a trophy.
I mean, one thing I can say about that trophy presentation, her nails look good.
There you go.
Her nails look good. That's all I got. I mean, shoot. But like I said, Candace. I know you asked about Candace being the running for it. Yeah, they have the best record, but as 808 said, their team is so balanced. It's just not one player that's being really dominant. It's a connectivity of everybody. It's almost like you could take a piece out and put another piece in, and they'll be okay on their end. So that's what I think about them. It is true about the Aces. If you take out Asia, she is the heart of the team, and she's, like I said, she leads everybody in doubles this year. So I mean, I can make a case for her for winning it also. But I think just because Kelsey has been increasing the last several years, she should have won 6-man last year. Who won 6-man last year? Damn, my mind just went blank. But anyway, it's going to be her. Looking forward to the game today. I wish it didn't come on the same time almost as track and field, but it is what it is. I'm going to watch them both at the same time. But I'm looking forward to these games. As I said before, I sent a tweet out. I posted it on in the comments, but I didn't chop it up like I did the other day. 6 through 10 or 6 through 11, it's going to be real interesting because they're so tight as far as the number of games that they won. I agree about the Sparks. I think the Sparks hold their own key to their own destiny. The New York Liberty might have a chance if they can go on a good run to get that 8. I don't think 6, 7, 8 is locked up. That's just my opinion. I think it's going to be a slugfest, depending on how all these games come back for them. It's going to be interesting. Anybody could win. I don't even think Phoenix is locked in. I think Phoenix goes as, like you said, Skylar Diggins goes, and the wily new champion. I don't know if DA is in here today or not. I know he was going to talk about on his podcast. I got to go back and listen to it. But about Sophie Cunningham, I can't stand that trick.
I don't think they are now trending back again into the wrong.
Well, they got nasty people on their team with nasty attitudes. So yeah,
that nasty green too. That doesn't.
I love to say Candace has a chance to win MVP, but I don't think it's going to happen for the reasons that me and Danny have been saying. Also, like I said, I think she has a better chance for depoy than anything. She leads the league in rebounding. She's top 5 in blocks and pretty much every other defensive metric. And this is all at 36 years of age. So keep that in mind.
I agree with that too. I can see that. But like I said, MVP is probably going to be her because I think Maya Moore is not even a guard. I think she's a forward more than anything else. But like I said, that's the list. It's on WNBA.com. If you Google search it, it'll pop up with everybody else. I said, damn, that's a long time. Nobody has won. A guard hasn't won, so dang.
I want to welcome some new people who've popped in here. Thank you for finding us today. If you've never been in Hoopspaces before, we talk ball. That's literally what we talk about. And occasionally, I try to impart words of wisdom on food to the masses. I want to
definitely try.
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys don't accept it. That's not my issue. Like, I try, I put it out there. If you don't receive it, move on. I want to get Adam in here. I want to get Sir Denny in here, and then we'll bring in Maliika. Adam, Sir Denny, do you have anything you want to add into the WNBA discourse that we have? And also, please tell us again why, hash browns are really bad for you. Like, they're disappointing, they're depressing, and if you buy them at McDonald's, you're buying them from a real estate company, not a restaurant. Adam, you're up. Go ahead.
Sorry, I gotta organize my thoughts on hash browns because things took a hard turn there. No, I know we'll get into some NBA talk, but just 808. Everybody that speaks on the WNBA, it's not something with how much coverage and time I spend around the Nets and the NBA. I sometimes need the reprieve in the off season, so I don't spend a lot of time getting into the WNBA. But being in this space and hearing everyone talk on them, it's got me geared up. So I'm going to be starting to take a little more coverage, tune in a little bit deeper, and hopefully enjoy some of these WNBA playoffs.
Yeah, just make sure you don't become a Liberty fan and you'll be okay.
Adam is a Nets fan. So, Adam, you have no choice. You really,
Do I have to go? I have to go Liberty? I have
no,
to
you
stay.
Don't.
They play in Barclays.
I got to stay in
play
building?
in Barclays.
Have a choice.
Hey, yo, Adam, just know Sabrina's better than Courtney Vandersloot because she rebounds well.
That's all. See, there you go. Exactly. This is the kind of information I need going in. See? Turn my head in the right direction. We'll see. Listen, I may go. Maybe it's something that that Chris can organize in here. I could be a free agent fan right now. State the case of where I should put my allegiance.
I am a free agent fan, and no fan bases persuaded me. Like one fan base got close, and it was the Washington Mystics. But because the Mystics won't answer a question of what their plans are for the future after Elena Delle Donne, I don't want to get emotionally attached.
I mean, that's just unrealistic. But what I will say is Chris has an unrealistic. Chris does, dislike of the Liberty isn't for sane reasons. Like he hates the colors. And, I love that, I do love our team. I think that with Sabrina, we have Benijah coming back soon. She should be back in a few weeks. So I'm excited about that. And that should help us, get one of those late playoff spots when she returns.
I want to get Sir Denny in here as well. Sir Denny, say good morning to the people. Do you have anything you want to add into the W talk we got going on?
Good morning, everyone. Sir Denny Blanco, NBA's Whisperer. Shout out to Ballers Live. Shout out to you, Chris, and everybody with Hoopspaces. With The only thing I had the WNBA was you know what? I didn't really have anything with the WNBA. I'm still sitting in. I'm waiting for my chance to actually talk a little bit about this poll you had. So I wanted to do a deep dive, but I will wait my turn.
All right, no problem. 808s, go ahead. What you got?
Yes, to the Sky fan that's in my DMs right now. I can see you don't really watch the team or care about Stephanie Dolson anymore, because the reason why I said that is because a reporter asked her what's the difference between Sabrina and Courtney Vanderson and Allie Quigley, and she said that Sabrina was better because she rebounds better, basically. So
No, and I'm a Sabrina fan, but Sabrina is nowhere. She's not sniffing Courtney She's not sniffing Vandersloot yet, not nearly yet. Like like Sabrina's doing her thing, but let's not get outrageous.
She's there. It's just a time thing, right? Next year,
no, not Vandersloot. Vandersloot is a whole different level to me. But I love Sabrina. But no.
I'm over here trying to give positive, spin over to the New York Liberty, and yet a New York Liberty fan beats me down. And yet
no, I love the Liberty. Let's make that clear. But I'm just clear on the differences. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
I'm close to going Liberty just based on having a Rodney Dangerfield reference on the roster. That might be enough. That might be enough to do it for me.
I'll give you another point. Adam is in the early lead, ladies and gentlemen, with 3 points. You guys got to step it up.
Hey, yo, Adam, if you choose a Liberty, just know that you have Zuhan on your team, and she's going to be a future MVP of this league. Just know that.
You know what? I'm going to give 808s a point. 6'10".
808s, thank you. She is just amazing, isn't she? I mean, I love the future of my team. I do love the future.
Sparks uniform.
What?
She's going to look great in a Sparks uniform.
Give yourself the horns, Chris.
Goodbye.
Chris, you really do like them, but I just want to say this. I want to give big ups to 808 and Maliika. You guys have really caused me to be more insightful in my WNBA talk. Pay attention more to stats, storylines and stuff like that. And even though I argue with 808, he knows I love him. He's like my little brother. And Maliika, I love what you do with all your stuff on your site. So I just want to let everybody know that. So there you go.
I appreciate you, Danny. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Danny. But yeah, 808 takes the coverage. With him actually covering this guy, he looks at the game a lot more deeper, and than a lot, others who watch the W. So I love that 808 gives the W as much respect as he gives the NBA, and he goes just as deep in both leagues, and I really appreciate that from him.
All right, so with that, I actually have an idea here. I'm actually doing fairly well picking winners in the W this season. I am now 25-6. And this never happens. I'm not a gambler, right? I'll play poker, I play Pai Gow, I'll play, progressive slots.
Who?
What?
Pai what?
Pai Gow.
What the hell is that?
Delicious.
It is one of the best gambling games you could ever play at a casino.
Isn't that with a bunch of blocks and they're all like numbered different? Am I off?
That's you're off, yeah. Way off. Pai Gow is
it's a puff pastry, right?
What?
That's a puff pastry, right? It's a light, fluffy puff pastry.
No.
A little bit of jam, maybe some marmalade in the middle there.
No. It's
leave it to Chris to know a game that nobody knows.
Well, one, it's not nobody. More people actually know about Pai Gow than they do about Baccarat or others. It's
first time I'm hearing it today.
Well, it's because you probably haven't, gone to a Chinese casino. I don't know, man. There's a lot of underground casinos in Washington, D.C. I may have availed myself of one a time or two. But it's actually also on table games in Atlantic City and Vegas. Anyway, I digress because I want to get back to calling these games. 3 games tonight. My winners, and I'm going to get 808's winners. My winners tonight, Connecticut, Las Vegas, and the Sparks. That's who I have winning. 808's, who do you have?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much that's right on the money. John Cole's back, and I think the Liberty aren't gonna have enough. Honestly, like they've been on a good streak. I'd say what the last. Actually, no, they've lost the last. Jesus Christ, the last 5 of their 6. I haven't watched the Liberty in like a week. Jesus Christ, Maliika, what's going on?
The Liberty.
What? They just won like 3 straight the other day.
It's
Okay.
Yeah,
they losing that game. The Aces are going to destroy the Dream. That's going to be nasty. And I think the Fever are going to play the Sparks close into the third quarter. And I just think Neck is going to take over in the fourth.
The only way the Fever win is if they play Destiny Henderson 30 minutes a game.
Oh, I don't think she's played 30 all season.
Nope. I think the most she's played is 18 because somebody rolled their ankle.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Hey, where K-Dot at, man? I got some questions, man.
K-Dot down below. Like, come on up, K-Dot, if you got some time. I'm going to bring up.
I still don't understand that with Indiana. I mean, why not play her? She is a great floor general. She understands when to go, when not to go, when she needs to score, when she not to get a score. It's like a wasted year for her almost.
She played
almost
one time.
Sorry.
So go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, I remember her playing, and then after that, I was like, where is she at? Is she hurt? I had to go look up to see what she was.
Like, if you go back to the beginning of the season and you look at her stats when she was playing, regularly and an average of double-digit minutes, she would be averaging close to 10 points and 3 assists and 2 boards as a rookie.
Right.
I don't think
they don't utilize her enough.
All right, so there you go, ladies and gentlemen. If you are of somebody who goes on DraftKings or you want to take a look at W, because I know a lot of people actually get exposed to their sports through, daily fantasy now. Check out WNBA stuff. It's real interesting, and the games are fantastic. You'll actually watch basketball and not a whole bunch of refs blowing whistles.
I remember the first time Destiny played against this guy. I think she came off in reserve, I'm pretty sure. I think she had like 13 points and like a couple assists, and like
she had 4 steals that game.
She did, yeah. She had 4 steals that game. She was literally the pacemaker for the Fever, and when she came off the bench, came into the game, it's like they just automatically knew what to do. Everybody's getting in their spots. She was picking them apart in the pick and roll, some dimes. She was picking people's pockets.
Ow!
Listen, man, I don't know why you don't play your rookie star point guard next to one of the best scorers in the W. It makes 0 sense to me. But hey, I'm not a coach. I don't know.
The question I would ask K-Dot, if he was up here, is it because they just don't want to play Destiny and Kelsey with each other? Because they think that it's too small of a backcourt? Like, that's the only, and I don't even think that's a viable argument. Like, I'm not making that as a viable argument. I'm thinking it's the only argument that can be made, and even though it's the only one that can make, it's still absurd.
I mean, Destiny's 5'7", but I think Kelsey's like 5'9". So I could see the size being an issue, but at the same time, what do you have to lose?
More basketball games. Like, you already lost 22, right? Like, you only got 5. What are we doing?
Like, in 2 more days, you're gonna be mathematically eliminated from the playoffs.
Play the kids, all of them. If you have more than 3 years of service, take an early vacation. Like,
you got Emily Angster over there, Queen over there balling, Nalissa. Like, how is this not working, man?
I don't know. It boggles my mind. Maliika, did you want to add anything before we transition over? Because a lot of people are ready to talk about this Steph versus MJ debate and the hilarity that is, NBA Twitter summer. People have nothing to talk about, so they're just inventing things with KD and Kyrie.
No, I agree with everything you said on Destiny Henderson. I'm disappointed with how she's being utilized this season, but it could be, they're trying to get Aaliyah, so we'll see.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. All right. Thank you, everybody who participated in our opening talk covering the WNBA. I think we've done it fairly consistent for the last 3 weeks. And I tell you what, it grows every week. When we first started, we had a problem. We would do the W at the end of the show, Maliika, remember, and then people would just run away. But what's really interesting that I find is if we open with the W, we actually grow more people in. and more people start saying, "Hey, I want to check it out." So I think what we're going to do here is keep the WNBA coverage here in the morning, because in all honesty, like if we did do it in the afternoon, we'd have to put up with a lot more Sparks fans, and like I want the Sparks to lose. So that's just me personally.
I didn't know the Sparks had fans.
Point.
What's your issue with the LA Sparks? I mean, what is the Chris? Just pick a team.
I don't like poorly ran teams. It doesn't matter the sport. If you are a poorly ran team, like when
I could get with that. I could get with the poorly ran team thing.
That is a good reason.
Yeah, I abhor poorly ran teams. Like I don't think y'all understand what the process did to me. Like it literally killed my fandom for like a good year and a half. It was rough.
I don't know if y'all remember, but Chris was really excited about the Indiana Fever until he realized just how bad like trying to watch them is.
The first moment that I knew I was having
Aaliyah is coming though. Aaliyah is coming.
The first moment I realized I was going to have trouble picking a team was when the blackout restrictions on the app existed, and I'm sitting here like, what the hell? You only have X amount of teams. Why are you blacking out anything? Regardless of where I live. We've got one half of I think he does the Who Runs the City pod. Big fan Breezy. What's up, Breezy? How you doing?
Chilling. Yo, real quick, Chris, before we get anywhere with it, I wanted to ask you a specific question. Ben Simmons, what, in your opinion, because you're a Philly fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
What option was he on offense?
He was not an option on offense.
Okay. So it's okay. Okay. No, I said that in contrast to the KD Kyrie situation. But if y'all still talk about the WNBA, I just got one hot take. My hot take is that I think Kyrie Irving will be a coach for the WNBA one day.
I don't think that's a hot take.
No?
Nope.
Okay.
Nah, I can definitely see that. Like he's definitely carried the torch as far as like supporting the league.
Carry what? Let's not do this. Carry what torch? He barely. No, he's not. No, don't say he carried the torch for Kobe. Don't do that.
No, I'm talking about as far as like
not carry. He pops up here and there. He ain't nowhere. If he winning that damn award, he not. No, we're not doing this.
Oh, wait, hold on, Maliika. I'm not talking about like literally carrying the torches, like being the face of it. I'm just saying, like, out of most NBA players that are regularly at WNBA games, he shows up more than not. Like Chris Paul has been doing it since he's been in the league, but Kyrie's done a lot for the league as far as making sure people get paid and stadium operations and things of that nature. Like he's done a fair share for the
things. I give him that. I'll give him that. But I don't see him as carrying the torch for Kobe at this point.
Yeah, maybe wrong termage.
Yeah, yo, but Chris, all right, what's the topic? Is it KD wants Kyrie out of Brooklyn?
Oh no, we have to gotten enough DMs. We have to that first MJ.
Oh wow. I think I would give it to MJ immediately, just because I watch MJ and all of that, and I see Steph Curry, but the titles stand out real quickly for me. 6-4. If Steph gets 6, then I would say it will be more of a debate. But Steph should be in the conversation as one of the greatest, especially of my time. He's definitely, and I'm a Brooklyn Nets fan, but greatness is greatness. For instance, he amplified the reason why the 3-pointer was invented. So the 3-pointer came from the ABA to the NBA because it made the smaller guy dangerous. Back then the league was dominated by the big man, and it kind of made the little man obsolete. And then that's why the NBA adapted the 3-pointer, and Steph Curry amplified that. Like the point he made, it's equal. He changed the game. I would say he revolutionized the game, but if I had to just choose MJ or Steph, I'm gonna go with MJ.
Yeah, so I gotta preface this, like, it's a great take. I said it at the beginning. Hoops Hype staff writers got together and they put together a cheat sheet for the GOAT, and on it has LeBron, Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, Magic Johnson, and Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Shaquille O'Neal. not one mention of Steph Curry. But when you start comparing Steph Curry to these contemporaries and the stats and production that they have in their career, my question is, where is he? And I am asking this question, and it was a conversation that I was having with a diehard Michael Jordan fan and a diehard Curry stan, and they're different. Like I said, the Jordan fan he's 71 and he's pure historical context, and the Curry stan, he's 38 and he just loves Curry. But the issue that the Jordan argument in the debate has is if you use Michael Jordan's metrics to define greatness, then Steph Curry automatically tops three of these people on the GOAT debate, and yet he's not here. So that's where this originated from. So if you have your thoughts on Michael Jordan and Steph Curry, by all means, I want you to share them. But understand the context is like you have to be able to scale the ability of Michael Jordan to this time period, or you have to scale the ability to Steph Curry to MJ's time period. But since we don't normally go back, we move forward because we're progressive, we scale Michael Jordan up. And if we scale Michael Jordan up, then we have today's rules, today's training, and we have to ask the question is, could he still be Michael Jordan of old in today's NBA? And the answer is maybe not. And if it's maybe not, then in comparison, wouldn't Steph actually merit a more robust argument to be included into this GOAT debate? Something that, peruses my mind. 808s, what are your thoughts? We'll go to Adam next and Danny, and then we'll hear from Sir Denny Blanco. If you're down below and you want to come on up, now's the perfect time. It's a slow day. It's the dog days of summer. Shout out to our Hoopspaces brethren, Rolo 77 and Rico Suave from 77 Spaces. Big ups to Jay the Wakanda Tech Support, deep member of the community, doing deep dives into everybody's team. JFK trying to surmount himself as the gatekeeper of Heat culture. Santa Rosa, one of our favorite Raptors fans. Eddie's in the building as well, another diehard Kenny Anderson Brooklyn Nets fan. 808s, go ahead, take it away.
Listen, Chris, I said in the group chat the other day that you were bored when we made this whole poll up. But I see people really, really feel like this is a real thing for some reason. When you consider the fact that Michael Jordan was the first guard to win Depoy, I think there's only been two since him. I think it was Gary Payton and Marcus Smart, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you want to talk about offense or, that's cool. We can do that. But defense is another side of the ball. I feel like isn't we talked about enough. Steph has been great the last couple of years, but before the last, I'd say 2-3 seasons, the man was trash on defense. We can acknowledge this. This is fact. Jordan aspired his entire career almost until those shitty guards started coming in the late 90s, and it's like, okay, he ain't locked down like he used to, but he's still a true savant of defense. But in the same breath, I feel like you can't say all these things and then not acknowledge the fact that Steph Curry is top 10 all time.
Yeah, no, exactly. And JP, Sidney Moncrief won Defensive Player of the Year prior to Jordan. He said after, just clearing that up. No, I agree. 808s, I think that's why I've furnished that argument, saying, hey, if we scale MJ up to today's time, is he the MJ of old in today's NBA? And if not, because the NBA is either more athletic, longer, freakier, faster, whatever, then we have to really take in context what Steph has been able to accomplish and do, and that would put him, on a tier where we can legit ask, hey, who wins this one-on-one? Adam, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll preface it with saying, like, I always look at NBA, whether present players or otherwise, it just says, here are some of the best players to ever play the game, right? That's usually the way that I discuss it. Getting a hierarchy of who is the absolute GOAT of all time. It's just, between all the different factors from different eras, and they're all some of the best. So these are fun, but I also don't. We just did a conversation around the Athletics article tiering out the best players right now in the game today. Who would you take? And where Kevin Durant was, where's LeBron, all that kind of stuff. And it's fun, but they're all among the best. on your point about Jordan, if you scaled him up and you think about, like you say, there's more athleticism in the game today. What could teams or players maybe do defensively against him? But then I would look back and think about when Michael Jordan made the active choice to bulk up and to get more physical so that he could take on some of those larger teams, the Detroit Pistons, right? Overcome that physicality that they were putting on him. So, how would his game have evolved in today's NBA? What would he have focused on? He would have focused on his three-point shooting from the perimeter probably, right? And then you're talking about someone who could impact defenses from the outside in. I can set you up to be a perimeter threat and then still break you down going to the basket. So I don't know if I think that that Jordan would be less or closer to the pack relative in today's NBA versus the era that he played in. It's undeniable that it is a more athletic game today. And in that regard, Steph Curry, he is a unicorn in terms of being able to be the best player on your team. We've talked about this in a few different conversations, I think, in here as well. Being a guard and being the best player on your team and being able to win championships is a rare accomplishment because, especially in today's NBA, it's difficult to be a guard and not suffer and not ultimately end up costing your team in some area of the game, whether it is, as 808 said, defensively. Well, if you're a little bit undersized and you're playing guard in a longer, lengthier NBA, it becomes hard. You get picked out on switches. You're going to constantly be put in the best matchup for the other team and the worst possible matchup for you. Do you have the other complementary pieces on your team to be able to switch and get better defensive assignments? Okay. But the fact that Curry came back and his defensive game is not the best. But I even said, going back to these past playoff runs, as 808 mentioned, last couple of seasons, getting better defensively. But that's just effort. And it's a compliment to Steph Curry. Like, you have to make an active choice to be a guard, to be undersized, to know that teams are going to, every single possession, especially in playoffs, look to expose the weaknesses and get those matchups. All it is about grinding and trying to fight underneath those screens and trying to keep your undersized body in front of a bigger player that can rise up over top of you if they want to. You have to be the pest. And that's not something that most top-tier talents make the choice to do. You can see them lock in. You can see them grind. Donovan Mitchell's a great example of this. He came out. He was supposed to be a two-way guard. That two-way went away, and he became a pure scorer. And that's amazing, and it's an accomplishment. And also, it's why when I talk about seeing the Knicks or any teams talking about giving up what they want, the asking price, you can't do it. Because unless you have that expectation of a player that can have that impact, you're only going to hurt yourself in the long term. So all that to say, they're both awesome. They're both at the top tier. Steph Curry deserves all of his flowers, and he should be, wherever you want to put him. The top whatever, he is, of course, more than deserving with what he's done over his career. And by the way, he's still got a nice little window here to keep adding to those accolades.
Yeah, no, I agree with you that he has the window to add the accolades. I want to give some accolades here, right? I'm going to start with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan here has 2 more finals MVPs than the second player on that list, and that's LeBron James. The issue, though, is if Bill Russell won MVPs in his time, if they had it, he actually probably has more. I just throwing that out there because we didn't have the finals MVP award. He has the highest scoring average per game for his career. There's even an asterisk to that. They changed some of the scoring rules, and it changed Wilt Chamberlain's scoring average. Wilt Chamberlain is number 2 at 30.07. Jordan's number 1, 30.12. If you do a deep dive into Wilt Chamberlain, you'd actually see like how crazy he impacted the rules of the league. Like, a lot of people say Shaq and Curry. Like, you would have to combine Shaq and Curry and Jordan together to create the change in the rules of the game that was created by Wilt Chamberlain. He has 10 scoring titles on his resume. In fact, every year he played a full season, he won a scoring title. He had how many? Nine Defensive Player of the Year awards, or all team defense selections. He has the highest PER. He's got the highest box score plus minus. He's got the highest playoff plus minus. He does not have the most playoff game winners. That actually goes to LeBron James. So, like, that is an amazing resume. But, like, if we look at Steph Curry, he has his finals MVP. He has his, regular season MVPs. He has scoring titles. But the question when it comes to this one-on-one that the Steph stand, and I almost used his name, and I don't want to do that, said is, if you look at the impact of the game, Steph has had a greater impact in the game. And that's why I led off with the comparison of Jordan versus Wilt Chamberlain. So in this one-on-one, Adam, before we move over to Danny and then Sir Denny, do you think Steph changed the game more? Or do we still view the NBA changed in the image of Michael Jordan?
See, I think, and I don't know how this will get taken. I think that Michael Jordan changed the perception of the NBA as a sport, right? Like, he ushered in the new era of the NBA. But it doesn't mean that he changed the way the game was necessarily played so much as he was maybe not the first, but his version of his generation of, I can dominate this sport, right? I can take this thing over with what I am, what my skill set is. Whereas Curry brought in a different version of, okay, there's been this little thing called the 3-point line that exists out here. I can completely change the way you look at scoring at the NBA level. I can change the way you think about what is range on this basketball court, right? And how, if you're effective enough in this specific facet of the game, all of a sudden it can elevate every other part of your game, and also cover up the defensive deficiency. It doesn't matter as much now because my offensive impact is that much greater. In some ways, I think Michael Jordan's like responsible for starting to bring on the change of the individual artistic beauty of what you could do with a basketball in your hands. Like, I mean, and that's like Magic Johnson, right? When you watched him play, it was like, oh, this dude is doing it differently. And this is suddenly becoming a beautiful thing to watch on certain possessions. And that's where you see the influence in so many modern players. I think the interesting thing will be to continue to watch and see how does the next wave of guards, and we're already seeing it, but how does the guard position continue to evolve, and does Steph Curry's play continue to impact future generations of guards? That would probably be the best testament. We'll just have to wait, give me 15, 20 years and then circle back to me.
All right. Absolutely love the answer. Answers it just like a pro, so he doesn't catch a lot of flack on the mentions. I love it.
But this is the problem. I'll just say quickly. This isn't something I put on. By the way, when we get to the Nets conversation, it's going to be the same thing. I think that it's far more interesting and genuine to look at this stuff from all angles and not, jump out there with some, as they call them, hot takes, and stake your claim to something that you could be swayed off of, or you should be able to be swayed off of, right? Like, isn't that the point of having these conversations, is to be able to be influenced by information and perspectives and where someone else is coming from? So, I'm not the guy for that, though. If you want to come at me, feel free, but I won't be that guy.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to say shout out to Kevin Garnett. I always forget that he has 9 defensive all-team selections. Like, my bad. Like, I always forget, because I always say Tim Duncan is better anyway. Danny, your thoughts on MJ and Steph? What do you got?
You know what? Because I've seen them both play in my lifetime. I'm a Jordan stan, and I love Steph too. So I guess I can say I've been privileged to see in my opinion, two of the greatest players that ever played this game. And I thought about this last night without even thinking about your conversation you're going to have today, because I didn't even think about it. But in my mind, if I had to do my top 10 list again, I would put him and Steph at the top, only because how they've changed the game. People like to talk about stats and numbers, and Steph don't play no defense like everybody else, but he provides the effort. And those are the two different things, effort. A lot of people don't put effort into playing defense. But they've changed the game. They transcend the game to a different level. You know, people were enjoying the NBA, but when Michael came, he just had this glow about him when he played. I think he could play in today's time because his mentality was totally different. His mindset, he was always looking for ways to fine tune his game, and that was one of the brilliance of him. That he realized as he got into age that he wasn't going to go to the basket. So what did he do? He worked on his jump shot. He started shooting 3-pointers. With Steph always working on his handle. Always, you know, he might not be the greatest passer, but his fundamentals of the handle, how to shoot, when he goes in for more twos, the floaters, things of that nature. He works on his body to make it more durable, to handle the hits and things of that nature. So that's why, for me, it's 1 Jordan, Steph 2. And then in there, like I said, then you go down, you could put then number 3. I know you asked for 2 people, but you can go down to number 3. I will put Russell. I will put Wilt Chamberlain because they changed the rules based off of him. And plus, he was in Conan the Barbarian too, I think. Yeah, I think that was the second one too, with Grace Jones.
Yep.
I love that movie. I don't care how crazy it might be, I still love that movie. And he was an Airplane too, wasn't he? Or that was
Kareem.
Kareem, yeah, Kareem. So yeah, so then you got any list. I agree with you about Tim Duncan. He's the greatest power forward to ever play this game, the big fundamental. And you can fight over 5 through 10 if you choose to, or 6 through 10 if you choose to. But at the end of the day, I consider them even for their time. Like I said, they're transcendent players. Everybody likes them. As far as commercialization, everybody loves them.
Fun fact about Wilt Chamberlain and Maliika, who had to work bounced out. I say this all the time. I actually I don't ever put Wilt Chamberlain in the greatest of all time debate, because if we were to be completely objective and honest, Wilt Chamberlain was the best physical specimen the sport has ever seen, right? And he was able to produce stats that no other player will ever produce in the NBA. Like Kobe got an 82, and it took him all night. Wilt Chamberlain didn't sleep the night before he scored 100.
What was playing against 4'11" dudes?
Nah, like Arnold Schwarzenegger comes out and says, "Yo, I won Mr. Universe, and this dude benches more than me." Like, people don't understand the rarity of what Wilt Chamberlain was as an athlete, right? And they view it as playing plumbers and playing electricians. But if you go back and you watch, like, he dominated everybody except one man who was only beating him because he was smarter. So shout out to Bill Russell. I'm just saying, I that's why I don't put Wilt Chamberlain in the GOAT debate. Like, it's
Will had the body count.
No, he had a lot of body count. Pause.
He had a body count. He had a hide.
I want to take this time to shout out some dope content creators here on Twitter and elsewhere. First up, you can catch her at the Mercury News. That's Janelle Moore. She does football as well. Check her out if you need some Bay Area sports coverage. We have also with us a dope W mind and robyn-renée. The only bad thing about her is she's a Sparks fan, and I'm rooting for the Sparks to lose today. We have TJ Kiesel in the building. Shout out to the woman of shoes. I tell you, I listened on the computer to the Kickback Friday night, and it was a great show. So if you are into shoes and fashion, check out TJ Kiesel down below. Justin Patton's in the building. You can catch him over on YouTube. He is on the quest for 3K subscribers, and you can be part of that journey and help him along. So go over to YouTube, check out JP the franchise and go ahead and shoot a subscription. Real quick, we're going to bring Robyn up because I know she is in her morning routine and she wants to add in to some of the W discourse we had earlier, and she wants to pop off about Steph and MJ too. You should listen because she's real dope. Good morning, Robyn. How you doing?
I just, it's too early, and then you said that so you can make me get on stage because I wouldn't let it slide, and I find that to be manipulative.
Are you saying that I manipulated you?
I believe that was very manipulative. I'm out here playing fetch with my dog, trying to mind my business. And you're out here going to say that the Sparks, who are struggling, are going to lose to the Fever. And I just find that to be, like, don't we have, like, an anti-bullying campaign? Be best, Chris. Damn, be best.
To be fair, I said the Sparks were going to win. I just want the Sparks to lose.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay. That's fine. You don't want to hear my opinions on Steph Curry versus MJ because you just don't. And I don't want to. I don't care enough to like really go back and forth about it because I think the greatest conversations and ranking people, I think it's stupid. In general, just enjoy the players for how they play the game, when they played the game, and like just like nuance people. Come on. Also, Michael Jordan has a very long-lasting reputation because of marketing, and that's awesome, and that's great. I just bought a pair of Nikes with I got Lisa Leslie shoes, but still, I just bought a pair of Nikes. Like, everyone's got Jordans. That's great. I don't think he's not my greatest of anything, so that's fine. That belongs to Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Elgin Baylor, Jerry West, like Kobe Bryant. I don't know. Maybe I'm biased. I don't know. There might be a through line there. And then when it comes to the W, I think that A'ja Wilson's going to win MVP. I think that I still kind of feel like the Sky are going to win it all. I think Candace Parker's game is so good that if I had a vote, I would vote for her to be MVP because I just think that there's something just so beautiful about how she affects the game in every aspect on all levels and how like consistent she is offensively, defensively, points, rebounds, assists. Like, she's smart. She's Candace Parker. That's all I have to say. I'm going back on mute. I will not be manipulated into doing this ever again. I haven't had any coffee. My dog is sitting here wanting me to throw the ball. She's very cute, by the way. And yeah, I don't appreciate it. It.
You get a couple of extra throws in, and I look forward to talking to you more about the WNBA as the season goes on. Because I agree with you. I asked 808s, he had to bounce for work, but I asked him if Candace Parker turns on the second half and has like the rebirth or resurgence of youthful energy and finishes 19-9. Can she sneak into the WNBA's MVP vote? And I think she could, because I think, like you, she's actualized the game. Like, she is at the perfect point in her career arc where the game itself, kind of like how Neo stopped the bullets in the Matrix, is literally manipulated just by a simple movement. And she's figured out how she can do that. I think it's beautiful, like you said.
Can I just interject real quick with that? This is where this is going to be a flawed thing. Yeah, I'm an Aces fan, but I'm going to be honest. I went over the list of the last time a guard actually won MVP. That was 97, 98. That was Cynthia Cooper. Also, I'm going to kind of sneak this in a little bit as an undertone thing. Every MVP is pretty much, Stewie probably was the last one that was a white female. Let me just go ahead and say that. So being that, what's her name? Kelsey's a guard, Plum is a guard, and she's white, they probably are going to vote her in there. Just saying. Just because they probably won't give her it. I love A'ja. And I love Candace, because Candace is playing with grace, and she knows where her skill set is. Her skill set ain't back with 2012. I think when she won the MVP and the Rookie of the Year, she's not where she was then. So she's playing with grace and understanding. She's playing with control. She knows what she can give and what she cannot give. and that's what makes everybody else around her better. Unlike Diana Taurasi, that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But
You don't feel
that's why I think the way I think. There you go. Sorry.
I'm not. I try to avoid talking DT at all costs.
I know, and that's why I said another conversation for another day. There you go.
Let's give some shout outs down below to some regular listeners that pop in. What's up, Nate? Logan the Foot is in here. Everyday Pedestrian, which, by the way, that is the best Oakland handle name I've ever seen. Or San Fran, but I'm assuming Oakland. Everyday Pedestrian, like, you should trademark that. Like, seriously. I thought that was hilarious. Edwin Garcia, LakersTakes.com, is in the building. Jay Cooper is here as well. And also a big ups to my man eBays94. Appreciate you always stopping by and supporting the community that we're building here. Up next, we're going to Sir Denny Blanco. He's going to give a more expanded thought here on the MJ versus Steph Curry debate. He said he wanted to go in on one. We're going to give him the mic, and then up after him will be Big Fan Breezy.
Yeah. Adam was dropping. I caught the Holy Ghost when Adam was preaching earlier. I really appreciate everything he was saying. This debate that we have every 2 months between Jordan and everybody else, Jordan, LeBron, Jordan, Kobe, Jordan, and Steph. For me, my Mount Rushmore, and obviously it's 4, but I have a little bit more people on there. Put it in the chat there. Magic, LeBron, Kobe, Jordan, Shaq, and Steph. So you can't really put these guys in the same bucket. They're all different, I guess, universes, and then there are planets in those universes that come off. So if you have Jordan, obviously as a universe, you have Kobe that comes off of that. You may have other branches that come off of that, but these guys are in different particular universes and planets come off. People don't understand how hard it is to lead as a guard under 6'4" to lead your team to a final yet win a championship. I mean, Chris, talk to me. When was the last guard under 6'4" to lead their team to a championship and win in the NBA?
Thomas?
Who was it? Who'd you say?
Isaiah Thomas.
And that's what, 89? And then 89, 90?
89.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's completely the hardest thing. And Steph is doing it literally from the deep outside, and everyone on Golden State is picking up on his offensive prowess. So I want to just close out with this, and keep it pushing. CP3 has had chances. Obviously, CP3 is not Steph Curry. No dispute, no debate. They're different players. But you see when CP3, what would you say his best teams were? Maybe the Clippers? When he was with the Clippers for a little bit, he couldn't get out. He could not, either injury, something happens where you just cannot win. So Steph being on this list, literally, I think, I say Magic, LeBron, Kobe, Jordan, Shaq, is phenomenal. He's definitely top 10, and he'll stay top 10, and he may leap up in terms of rankings. I don't have particular rankings with those particular players, but and then also piggybacking off what Adam said earlier, yeah, Jordan changed the game overall and make it a better game for people to come and watch. Steph has even 808s. I think not 808s. Justin said it earlier. Steph has cats shoot threes from warm-ups. Steph has guys shooting 4-on-1 3-point shots. Like, it's a 4-on-1. Coaches would tell you it's a 4-on-1. You have to take a layup. I'm seeing people take threes. Like, that's strictly because of Steph. I close. The floor is yours.
All right, appreciate it. That's why I prefaced this conversation like, hey, I talked to two opposite ends of the spectrum here. And to also give you full disclosure, I also had this conversation with Jamal Crawford. Like, personally, there is no Michael Jordan without Oscar Robertson, right? And personally, I try to listen to those whom are more knowledgeable and experienced. And to have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar say the greatest player I've ever seen play is Oscar Robertson. To have Michael Jordan say it as well, I think people don't understand how good Oscar was and just how at the wrong time we saw him, right? Like Oscar Robertson would have been the equal to MJ if he had played in MJ's day. Like, not only the equal, he was bigger, he was stronger, he was not as fast, he did not have the same vertical. He would have had a top 10 vertical in the league. Like, if Len Bias or Hank Gathers or Reggie Lewis don't unfortunately pass away at a
Reggie Lewis, whoo, man,
or Drazen Petrovic for that matter, like is a animal, right? So when I say contextually, if we scale Jordan up or if we bring Steph down, like there's an actual conversation here. And I think that that's the problem, is a lot of people don't want to admit that there is an actual conversation here. We'll go up next to Big Fan Breezy of the Brooklyn Nets. What's up, man? What you thought on Steph and MJ?
First and foremost, shout out to the space and shout out to everybody in here. I enjoy listening to the content, so I'm not just here to chat. And yeah, I am half of Who Run the City, the podcast. We do that 7 to 9 p.m. At 8 o'clock. You could call up, and even if you leave a comment, we'll throw it on the screen and we'll, talk about what you left in the comment. Knicks versus Nets there. But yeah, I think MJ, and it's, to me, it's about revolutions the game, like revolutionizing the game. I think Jordan, he didn't do it as much as Curry, but what he did do is get stronger. And that was intentionally from Isaiah Thomas, Detroit Pistons. That was a direct, competitive, I need to get stronger to beat Detroit Pistons. So, and I think what people miss about Curry is his demeanor, but in my opinion, going off of what Kobe Bryant said, it is heavy on the competitive side when you stay with one team because you're known and that's your home. And I think that's what gives Curry the edge on somebody. I'm not saying that the players that were mentioned besides Jordan didn't have a home, but I'm saying that's what he kind of put greatness with. If you do this one player does this for this team. Before Curry got to the Golden State Warriors, I think they already had to. So respectfully, they did win a championship before Curry got there. But respectfully, Chicago Bulls had nothing before Jordan got there. And I think that will always side with Jordan in the conversation about who's better. Because not only did he become better, he made that team better. Chicago was nothing before Michael Jordan. So I side with Michael Jordan for that fact. For the fact that the Chicago Bulls didn't have, not just that, but I think it leads to more of that, to the argument of Jordan being better because he made the organization didn't make him. You win, and this is, and I'll say this little thing and I'll land the plane. This is the significance of, in my opinion, Kyrie staying in Brooklyn. Like, he would be the first player to win two teams that never had a championship, first Cleveland, and then it could be Brooklyn. So I just think that plays into the conversation of the greatest player as well. I don't know. I want to ramble on. That's all I got.
You just want to give Kyrie some positive vibes, and I'm here for that. I want to shout out Scotty Too Hottie, a.k.a. Wardell Stephen Slurry. It was point guard 6'4" or under. And then he switched it to guard 6'4" and under. And there is a correction. You can argue Dwayne Wade led the Heat. I argue that Shaq led the Heat, but people will argue Dwayne Wade led. So, I'm not going to argue that one. If you want to argue LeBron and Wade, it's LeBron all day. And if you think otherwise, you are just a stan and a homer and you need to get over it. But if you want to say Wade led the Miami Shaq Heat, okay, I'll give you him. Big fan. That's actually a good point that you make about Kyrie Irving. But I don't think necessarily he's going to make the GOAT debate. And I said this in the group chat, Kyrie about Isaiah Thomas. Kyrie Irving is going to have this same problem that Isaiah Thomas had. Not enough people like him. Understand what I'm saying. And it's not the writers, it's people. Not enough people like him. And he's somebody who needs to be liked. It's maddening. And like he does it, it's self-sabotage at like Mensa level. Drives me crazy because he has that ability to really be a top 5 player in the league. But again, I digress because he's not playing the way he could play. I want to give some shout outs down below. Viral Nico's in the building. And I want to give him a huge thank you. Always being here, always pumping up every voice in the community. You can ask everybody who's been in the community. He has likely liked or retweeted your stuff, even if y'all never even spoke. So shout out to Viral Nico. That is something that we appreciate, and that's what we're trying to build here. It's what we strive for. So here for you is your flex bomb, Real. That's just for you. Shout out to Nightingale coming in as well. Dope that we have so many great women who love basketball popping in and listening and sharing their opinions. But, we have the same people up on stage, and I think we need some new voices. So if you want to add into this Steph and MJ talk, now's the time to raise your hand. If not, you're going to just hear us ramble on and on. Next up, we will go to Dany for a quick question because I know Dany and I are of a particular culture. And one of the things in the military culture is we tend to be exposed to different cultures across the wide, breadth of this country. And when we're talking Steph and Michael Jordan, are we also talking a generational gap that isn't really being communicated? Like, I remember Michael Jordan coming after Bird and Magic, but I remember them shoving Michael Jordan in the Bird and Magic conversation. And then Magic has to retire, and then all of a sudden we have the Larry Bird, Michael Jordan commercials with Charles Barkley as an add-on a couple years or a year later. Are we really more so dealing with a lack of understanding of generational basketball?
Yo, Chris.
Go ahead, big fan.
Yo, I wanted to say, I am I on the same page with you? Because it's like the best versus the best, right? In generation, like what did Bird think when MJ came to the league? And then that's the thing when you hear the quotes from other greats about what MJ was, because they competed versus him. You know what I'm saying? It brings to me the conversation. It's like, what would LeBron say about Curry if they sat down in an interview? Because this is going to be 30 for 30s on Sports Center later. Even you, I think your hoop spaces might be on a Sports Center 30 for 30. That's how dope I think your spaces is. But I'm saying that to say the conversation will always exist because they competed versus each other. You could, Curry and Jordan never competed versus each other. You know what I'm saying? That's why when you hear, that's why I like The Last Dance, where Magic is explaining what it was to go versus Jordan and the rise of Chicago because of Jordan and et cetera, Pippen and et cetera, respectfully. And I'm just saying that to say the greatness of player to player, I think you got to look how they were surrounded. And when you stay with one team like a Jordan and Curry did, you could count the Washington Wizards, but you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? They stayed with one team and the organization decided to build around them. So what I will say is the question, I don't know if it's action, and I'll land the plane asking this question. How fast did Curry win a championship with Golden State Warriors, and how fast did Jordan win a championship with the Chicago Bulls?
Okay, that's a good question. Let me bring that up because I don't know off the top of my head. My brain is going somewhere.
And that'd also be too, like, no, I was gonna to add to that, like, talking about guys staying, like, that's just in both of these instances, you're talking about guys staying in one place. You can look at a lot of players around the league today or at any point, but obviously with player movement, and say what would have happened had they stayed, right? Had they stayed with their team. I mean, Kevin Durant, you lose you lose to Golden State. What would OKC have been able to do? How may they have changed that roster to surround or bring in extra talent, or if they kept it together long enough for James Harden to become the version of James Harden? What would that team have looked like, and could they have gone on a run? And how did the history books change, right? So perceptions of all these guys can shift very quickly, and to say nothing of the talent that was around Michael Jordan during his career. Obviously, you're talking about one of the top guys in the game in Pippen. So that's why I think these are fun conversations, but you can go down so many different factor trails to say, yes, but because of this, Michael benefited, or he overcame more, or vice versa. So it makes it for fascinating conversations for sure.
Jordan took 7 years. Curry took 6 years.
Well, that's it then. Curry's the best all time.
Nah, respectfully, but nah. See, that makes it, to me, it make it more interesting, because it's like, all right, 6 and 7. Respectfully, Curry did it first for his. So now that's in the conversation. You know what I'm saying?
But that would be.
What do we do with that?
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm asking.
Oh no, like this is why I think it becomes interesting, because again, we're talking about greatest of all time, but that'd be like saying, what is Damian Lillard in the spectrum of NBA history? Well, you'll never truly know, because you'll look at Portland and go, well, they've been a disaster. The only thing they did successfully for a number of years was have Damian Lillard, right? So it's hard to then say, because it's the benefit of being drafted by Golden State if you're Steph Curry. And the one thing that I think is a through thread from both of these guys is their mentality, right? Steph Curry came in, he had to completely up his game at the NBA level to accomplish his goals. So that, I think, is always the mental mentality, and the makeup is a big factor in any of these guys that end up getting mentioned in the top 10, the top 15 all time.
Yeah.
I'm going to tease tomorrow right now. I will tell you exactly who Damian Lillard compares to tomorrow's show. And I will put the poll out tonight, and so you'll be able to get a sneak peek on who it is, and we'll have that discussion tomorrow. Because Adam's bringing up a very, very good point. There are a plethora of Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Famers who haven't won a championship. And the only reason why is because a man named Michael Jordan, or a man named Larry Bird, or a man named Bill Russell stopped them. So that's a very poignant point. I appreciate it. Danny, you want to hop in here?
Yeah. See, I hate this conversation because I like everybody. I try to be fair with this conversation as much as possible. But like I said, you are right. It is generational, because you talk to people who are a little bit older than me, they're always going to say Jordan. You talk to people who are younger than me, if they're not saying LeBron, then they're saying Steph. Or you get to somebody like my brother-in-law who follows LeBron wherever he goes, and he'll scream LeBron. But like I said, it just depends on who you are and what you define as basketball. Because not everybody understands basketball. They just go off the eye test. They don't look at the mechanics of stuff. They don't look at the breakdown of the game. They don't look at how somebody shoots. Are they following their shot? They don't look at basketball IQ like maybe you, me, or some other people will do who have their own podcast, who break down the games and look at all of that. They'll just go by, how much of a commercialization this person is on their end, as that may dictate how people view players. And that's why where you see Magic and Bird kind of fade into the abyss somewhat is because Michael was a shoe. He gave life to Nike. So he has over 2 decades or more because of a shoe. And that's what most people who are younger than us are probably going to know him more for, is a shoe, until The Last Dance came out during the pandemic. And it opened the eyes up to a lot of people. But at the end of the day, it is generational. It's about who you think. So your uncles are probably going to say Larry and Magic. If you go back further, You talk to some people, they might say, like you said, Oscar Robertson. Everything is generational. I mean, I notice now, for example, music. When I listen to music today, I'm like, that R&B ain't nothing. They ain't like the music I listened to back in the 90s. I'm like, damn, I'm starting to sound like my grandparents. God bless the dead. But, everything is generational. And we don't like to admit it, but it is at the end of the day. We all try to stay young and hip and stay in the new, but we always come back to what's comfortable to you and what you relate to, and you remember what you felt like when you first saw it.
I
And
don't.
that's what it is about basketball.
I was
That's
born 40 years old.
I believe it. You came out with a telescope and you were writing your thesis. And
You got old man young body syndrome, Chris? Because we can be the
look,
same group. We can be the same group.
I was born 40. By the time I was 12, I had read and wrote a paper on the rise and fall of the Third Reich, which is like, it's a volume. It's not a book, y'all. It's like about, the entire series is about, God, 10,000 pages. And it breaks down like the entire rise of not just Nazism, but the actual power of Germany, which went behind the modern politic of the time. So I grew up. I grew up old. I was born old. I'm gonna die young. That's the way to live.
Well, that's a good life mantra there. I will say though, to Danny's point, like I think this is what I enjoy too when we talk about when you're talking about like teams that have championship aspirations, and then you start talking about the supporting cast. Like I think you could also do, it's like, who are the greatest all-time NBA players from a pure basketball fundamental standpoint, right? Like who are the guys that check all those little boxes that you need to, if you want to go from being a bench player to a guy in the starting lineup, or being a sixth man, or being one of the better players, one of the best players to play the game, or being one of the greatest of all time. And I think that's what Danny is speaking to a little bit, because I'd be curious if you would say, Danny, that like LeBron James, you would say that he's in that mold of Michael Jordan, that the brand is as much a part of everything that he's accomplished as a player. But 20, 30 years from now, LeBron will be remembered in a different way and cemented in a different way than any other players that maybe were his contemporaries while he was still playing.
Is that my phone or is it?
I think
no, it's
I missed
Chris.
Danny. Okay. Oh, Chris. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's Chris. It's not us.
Probably me. I was answering a message. Somebody was DMing me. No, I like that point. I like the idea of taking out the subjectivity of it and trying to, base it on a set of agreed upon facts. But unfortunately, we're human. And not a lot of people can handle that type of objective conversation. Somebody that can just popped up, though, and you should shoot her a follow. She is host of the best NBA game show, So You Think You're a GM, Saturdays at 4 p.m. when the season starts back up. Well, we just got done doing a write-up of the other show called Benchwarmers, where you're going to be able to get your first take on. Loser will get voted down by peers to the bench and made fun of, in such a shameful manner that maybe a meme or something will be generated. That is our friend Nat, and you can follow the handle at Reese Rebel 31, diehard Celtics fan. She was right, except about Jason Tatum. Nat, good morning. How you doing?
Chris, don't you start on that Jason Tatum hate. Don't you do it, okay?
I'm not hating on Jason Tatum. I'm being honest.
Well, I still was right. He had a bad finals. Don't make me go into history and call some of these goats out that done had some bad series. Y'all will be disappointed.
Yeah, I won't. How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
You know what? It's been a long 2 days with that mall shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like my son is okay with it, but like his friend was breaking down and still crying about it, and that made him cry. And then two of the parents started crying, and I'm sitting here like, y'all, we was nowhere near it. Let's take but it's real. I appreciate you asking.
Absolutely. People feel emotions and they feel for other people, and that's just, really what it is. It's because it can happen anywhere. And I think that's what brings the emotion. But in talking about this whole Steph versus MJ, I don't like how that's phrased. I don't look at it as a versus kind of thing. I look at it as like what they both have brought to the game. I am in my early 30s, and I still think MJ is the GOAT. I lived through all of LeBron and all of that stuff, and I still think MJ is the GOAT. That's just me, though. It's an opinion. But when it comes to Steph, I probably have more praise than a lot of people for him, because I look at what these GOATs have done for the game and how, they've just transformed this game. If I look at MJ, I can go right directly to, okay, well, who was a replica of MJ? And I'm like, damn, the closest thing is Kobe, so that's immediate and transcendent. Then I look at Steph Curry. I don't see anything but a bunch of Steph Currys in the league right now trying to do exactly what he does. People are trying to draft exactly who Steph Curry is or what they think he is. They're trying to draft somebody just like him. That's somebody who has a hold on the game for longer than just, the time that they are playing. I don't think that another player will, get to where MJ is as far as his brand. That Jordan brand is remarkable. Like 30 something years later, that Jordan brand, that you're still dying over those shoes, and trying to get those shoes. That's what he's built. But there are just certain players that, there's a replica of them in the league, and I think that, with Steph Curry, we have to be honest with ourselves and say, hey, he's not just, the greatest 3-point shooter we've ever seen. He's done so many other things, for this league. And when I see a bunch of, Trae Youngs and Dames and all that stuff like that, you gotta say, man, listen, when people trying to shoot from the logo consistently, and trying to go 4 or 5 from the logo, you got to start throwing Steph Curry's name in there on top of the championships, on top of the MVPs. He has everything that you look at to put him where he needs to be. Everything. He has it. There's nothing you can do about it. You don't have to like his game. You don't have to like 3-point shooting. It is what it is. It's part of the game. I really wish the league would come with him, though, and put that 4-point line out there, Chris. That's where the league is going. And I'm going to keep pushing the agenda. It's got to be out there, okay? That's where this league is. If you don't like it, hey, there's a bunch of videos on YouTube from the 80s and 90s. Have at it. But for the rest of us that do and appreciate where the game offensively is going, man, put that 4-point line out there, adds another element to the game. And guys like Steph Curry, you have him to thank, because he's been able to do it, and others have shown that they can also do it. That's called transforming the league and the league growing. So love Steph Curry, love MJ. I love everybody for different reasons. I don't have to, have an argument, and argue with people about, MJ or Braun or whatever. They're all great in their own right. Just like when Danny brought up music, I can say, my favorite group is Boyz II Men, but my second is the Temptations. That's 2 different eras, So you just have to love people for who they are and what they bring to the game, and stop pitting them against each other, because they all bring something great.
There you go. I agree. And like, that's why I didn't phrase it like I usually do these one-on-ones, like I say 1st to 11, because I want people to actually think about the physical game of basketball. This one is more framed as an exploratory debate. It's not even a debate, right? We are not even at the debate stage. We're in the exploratory phase. We're putting out our thoughts, opinions, and facts. And then after thoughts, opinions, and facts, like, people go back, they recalibrate their thinking, maybe write out what their thesis is of their argument, and then they come back and circle around and debate. That is my plan, part of it, to have this style of conversation. And so when Benchwarmers does go live, people are ready to have that type of substantive debate. Because a lot of y'all think you can do First Take. But like, you don't understand. Those people up on First Take, they really do this. Like, they have producers lining up how they're supposed to argue. Stephen A., he takes his cues, but he takes the list that he wants, and the B list is given to his partner, right? You have people in your ear directing you if the conversation needs to go at a particular pace in a particular place, right? If you're up here This is you. And you're going to have 60 seconds where you have to express your thoughts, opinions, and facts in a clear and concise way. Otherwise, you're going to get voted to the bench. Thank you, Nat. And we got to get with each other to talk about when we're going to go live. Also, getting ready to go live, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, because we're in the dog days of summer. NBA Trivia Night will be here starting next week. I just haven't told Ryan yet because I kept pushing it off because I knew we were going to need this type of break and this type of content as we have 6 weeks of nothing. Absolutely nothing. So go get your ad nauseum hot takes on the Twitter timeline and bring it here and get ready to have some fun. So make sure you shoot Nat here a follow as she will be one of the main voices of Benchwarmers, and it's going to be fantastic. Anybody have any questions of Nat's point, if you want to bring it up? Because she does raise an interesting topic in comparing greats, right? Everybody brings something different, and everybody is liked, revered for a different reason. Anybody got anything on that? And we welcome Maliika Walker back up on stage. I think she has something she wants to add in. And I'll bring in a couple of more shout outs down below. KP, the executive hater, host of KP Views, we're getting ready to launch Spaces reviews in the next 7 to 10 days. So if you have any type of love of pop culture or music, such as Marvel or Jay-Z, and you want to tell KP that he's wrong, well, you're going to have your opportunity Sunday nights at 8 p.m. To go in there and get scolded like the child you are. And KP is going to scold you. Like, understand what I'm saying here. And I'm all for it because a lot of people, a lot of y'all, you're just wrong. And you need a hater to tell you that you're wrong. And that is what KP is going to provide for you. Just like I tell you French fries are not worth your time, he's going to tell you Marvel makes mid movies. Check it out, Sundays at 8 p.m. Darling Nikki's in the building, one of our favorite Bay Area residents and an unfortunate fan of the Oakland Athletics who are not doing as well as my Baltimore Orioles. Shout out to you, Darling Nikki. Prince is still better than Michael Jackson. We'll go to Adam with his question, and we'll go to Maliika after Adam. Good morning, everybody.
Yeah, I was going to just say on Nat's points around what each individual player brings and how it impacts. I think maybe one of the more fun conversations to say, if you're constructing the perfect NBA player, what skill set from each of these guys throughout NBA history would you want to pull in, right? What are the facets of these games that you would pull in and say, yeah, I want the athleticism of player X. I want the range of a Steph Curry, whatever it may be. I think that ends up becoming kind of a fun way to look at this and say, yeah, here's the pieces and the components. And by the way, it may actually take some guys that are fringe considered all-timers or great players where you go, yeah, but if they don't have that contributing skill set, if they don't have that one attribute that you would absolutely want in your Megatron version of the perfect NBA player, maybe they fall down a little bit in where they are in the hierarchy.
I like that. I want to give a random fact. No player has won more seasons than Tim Duncan. 19 times. Every year of his career, he had a winning record. That is insane. Anyway, I just felt like adding that for no reason. Maliika, go ahead. You're up, and then we'll let Nat respond.
Yeah, when I saw this poll, I was like, Chris is trolling. And I didn't think about bench warmers. And I was like, okay, this is, to hearing you guys talk about it, it is the perfect bench warmers post. But for bench warmers, this is not one up. I mean, I would want to see other types of discussion and arguments. I just feel like versus MJ, anything is just old. You know what I mean? Like, we see that all the time on TV in these rooms, with bench warmers. Like, y'all going to bring it, I'm sure. But versus MJ is just old. And I'm an MJ fan. But it's just like, okay. That's just my opinion. It spikes up conversation, but it's like, yeah, for me, it's just like, okay, for MJ, I don't know, versus Steph. I mean, I don't know for me, but I agree with everything that Nat said. I just also wanted to point out that even though this is a dead period for the NBA, the Rewind will have content. We're going to be discussing tomorrow. Can't Knock the Hustle, the book that Net's Twitter does not can't stand. But I think with everything going on with Nets, it's time to look at it. So Satan and I are going to talk about the book, some of the points in the book, and have a discussion with fans about the book. And let's have an open dialogue. I'm also going to be diving into the ABA, the history of the ABA for some rooms in August. And I have some other plans as well, diving into NBA history because I am a hoops historian. I love to explore the history of the game. So that's what I'll be doing. So my rooms will still be going forward. So it's NBA content, but it's more historical NBA content. So definitely check me out.
Absolutely. So it's a great show that you should check in with every week. She has fascinating guests. She's had Scooter Garrett on, who played Chick Hearn in Winning Time. She's had Jeff Pearlman. She's had Jamal Tinsley. If you are not following her and you say you're a fan of basketball, you're missing out. And it's just that simple. Um, Although what I will say is, like, I posted the other tweet because most people thought it was a troll post. Like it's not. It's a legit conversation. But for most NJ fans, they're done. They're tired. They want to codify his place in history. Um, Answer to an earlier question. Chris Paul's best chance to win a championship was the 2021 season. The Phoenix Suns were 51-21, but that was the highest offensive rating team that Chris Paul ever had at 117.2, and they lost in the finals to the Bucks. So there you go. Shout outs down below. 30 and Dubs is in the building. One of the best trainers in the entire world for basketball is in the building. Mark Edwards of Monstar Labs Midwest. Hoopspaces Ryan is here. He heard that we're starting the trivia next week, and I was going to message him that, but I just decided to say it out loud. Shout out to our friend and fellow Lakers fan of Hoopspaces Ryan, Dr. Randy Chan. It's good to see you up here. Sad Nets, man. It's okay because we're transitioning now to the Nets, so you don't have to be sad any longer. You can be happy because Scuttlebutt out of Barclays is that KD and Kyrie ain't moving. But then if you move outside of Barclays, apparently Kevin Durant's trade request may have been about getting Kyrie Irving out of Brooklyn. And all we can say is, what the what? Like, I have no idea any longer of what is going on in the Brooklyn Nets organization. We happen to have 3 Nets fans up on stage, one down below who may join, and we're going to do a deep dive real quick into this Brooklyn subject because I know people are getting KD and Kyrie fatigue, but you have to understand what was just said is like you have one side saying everybody's coming back, nobody's being traded. We'll welcome KD back. He needs to walk back the trade request. But then somewhere out of nowhere in left field, it's, well, Kevin Durant may have requested this trade to get rid of Kyrie Irving, who he now deems as, unreliable. We will go first to Maliika because she did the transition. We'll hit up Big Fan Breezy, and then we're going to get Adam in here, Adam Armbrecht of Locked On Nets, and we're going to do this deep dive. Maliika, lead us out.
I don't believe this. For 1 second. I don't believe this. I also, even though I'm a KD fan and a Kyrie fan, I have KD and Kyrie fatigue already. I'm just tired of talking about this odyssey. But I don't believe this report. I don't believe this at all. That's my personal. That's my opinion in terms of the deep dive. What deep dive? Everything has been said about the Nets this summer already, or written about it. Um, Deep dive. Either you believe it or not. I don't. I think they're a package deal for the Nets, and once their careers are with the Nets, they're going their separate ways, and I think they know that.
All right. I happen to think that there could be validity to this. This is a very passive-aggressive move, if this were to be true. We'll go to Big Fan Breezy. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's a flex on KD's side. Like, listen, I'm a hooper for real. That's my identity. That's who I am. Remember, he said I'm gonna pull my y'all broke card when he got caught with the ashy leg or whatever. He don't care about nothing but hooping. All he want to do is hoop, and he want Kyrie with that same mindset. You love Kobe and this mama mentality. You know, I think it's kind of a flex. Like, I ain't going nowhere for real, but look what would happen if I did. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and I don't know, maybe competitively, I'm saying we were 21-9 without Kyrie Irving. You know, that's COVID. That's i.e. COVID. I mean, that's because of COVID. Sorry, that's my daughter singing in the background. Um, yeah, there you go. I feel like because KD played that well at an excellent level without Kyrie, he was the leader of the team, and that was known. And when Kyrie came back on the floor, it was supposed to be 7-11, but it wasn't 7-11, and we all know that. It was 7, and then sometimes 11, and then it was 11, and then it was 7, but there was never no 7-11. It was a lot of 7, and then a little bit 11, and then it was more 7, and then when they tried to mix it, they didn't have that cohesiveness because they had it. You know, they didn't play together. They only had 44 games in 3 seasons. Let's call it a spade, right? And I'm only saying that to say that competitively, I think KD was there more without Kyrie on the floor. And I think this is kind of a flex. I don't want to, you know, say, you know, try to add to something that's not there. I'm saying to come from something. And if he considered himself a basketball prophet, to me, or at the end of the day, they got all these accolades before they got to this team. What they do together means something. You know what I mean? So I think, you know, it might be a slight flex, but ultimately I think KD wants to play. He wants to hoop, and he's going to hoop somewhere. And he letting everybody know he's serious about hooping. I think it's a flex to say KD is saying I'm gonna hoop somewhere. I know somebody want me, even if he don't want to go nowhere. He just flexing like I could do that, but he ready. I think he's ready, and I think Kyrie ready, and I think he did that to make Kyrie commitment. You know what I mean? So I think it's the other way around. You know what I mean? I think KD want to see Kyrie commitment too. You know what I'm saying? And I'll land the plane saying this. Watch the post-game interviews when Kyrie wasn't there. He never sweated Kyrie. He just played basketball. We were 21-9 without Kyrie, and then he got hurt, and then it went back. But I'm saying that to say, when you look at the record when Kyrie was there, when KD wasn't there, we wasn't no 21-9. That's my point. So I'm saying that to say we can compete more with KD. Kyrie got something to prove. KD do too because he a hooper, but this is something to prove season for the Brooklyn Nets. And if they leave, it'll make Dick legacy as legends in the game look a type of way because, like I said about the Jordan and Curry, and I land a play saying this, the greats always have a home, and they could both call this home, and they ready to dip. That's like where your competitive spirit. You know, I'm laying in plain saying that.
Hey, no problem. And you don't need to apologize for your daughter singing. Like, I hope that she's happy. Yeah, well, I'm here for dad duty. I'm here for it. I love it. All right, it's the best job I ever had in my life. Saint would agree with me, and Saint's being apoplectic because he's like, Katie, what? Okay, so listen, before I get to Adam, Dave McMenamin went on the Low Post. Zach Lowe is extremely reputable. Like, I know this personally, right? Like, I've had the opportunity to interact with him before he was famous. And we actually talked about the Sacramento Kings of all teams. And I also did it with Zach Harper, because Zach Harper had to cover the Kings, unfortunately, at that time. Dave McMenamin also is a fairly reputable reporter. Like, Adam, I haven't really heard anything negative about either Zach Lowe or Dave McMenamin. So if they get on that pod on the Low Post and they are waxing in a not so hypothetical way as reporters do, there's got to be something here. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think so. It's interesting. if you dial it back, and obviously over the course of the summer, you keep getting these kind of reflective looks at what's occurred for the Brooklyn Nets, including the idea that it was announced that the Nets granted Kyrie Irving permission to seek a trade. It was not that Kyrie Irving requested to, or that he wanted to go out and seek a potential sign and trade. I would find it odd that if like Kevin Durant need not threaten with a trade request in order to say, I would prefer Kyrie Irving. I would prefer to part ways with Kyrie Irving. I would rather do it with a different cast, different supporting, whatever, bring in another player, etc. If he wanted that, it'd be as simple as directly going to Sean Marks and Joe Tsai and saying, I no longer want to play with Kyrie Irving. And it doesn't need to be animosity between them, but this hasn't worked out. So it's going to be one version or the other. I'd like a new iteration of this team, or I'd like to potentially pursue it somewhere else. Now, you can say Kevin Durant wanted to cover himself around that, and this way it doesn't reflect poorly, as in he is, pushing Kyrie Irving out, and this is a way that you give yourself coverage for that. So I find it a little bit curious that he would need to go about it this way if that's what he ultimately wanted to accomplish. We did discuss just over the course of the summer of saying, is there a point when we looked at it, globally, where everyone involved says, man, this is everything that's gone on every single side of the organization, the players, etc. It hasn't worked out. Maybe we all would just be better off going our separate ways, right? And inside of that, we discussed maybe Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving look at it as this isn't going to work out. Kyrie Irving looking at maybe getting back together with LeBron James and thinking that could be better for him. Kevin Durant looking around, whether you want to buy into the rumors of going back to Golden State or wanting to go play with Chris Paul. Whatever the versions of it are, there's clearly enough in the air there to say all sides are willing to look at different versions of this. And I don't think that it's beyond the pale to say that Kevin Durant is looking at a version where he's not playing with Kyrie Irving. And we've also said all along, maybe the best version is to not have Kyrie be here because he's on his player option, and that's obviously different. And by the way, if the contract negotiations, when they went down, the question then becomes, and it's usually always players with players, we know that. But if the Nets were saying, we are willing to offer you 2 years at max, plus 3 and 4 kicking in at max dollars based on playing games, how did Kevin Durant look at that? Was he threatening a trade request to get Kyrie Irving his money? And if that was the case, and Kyrie said, no, I want the max dollars fully guaranteed, could Kevin Durant have looked at that and said, hey, if you're planning on playing with me over the next 4 years, what do we have to worry about? We're going to be here. We're going to be playing. You're going to get those max dollars. I think that all these things are possible. And I think that you can have an experience with a friend off the court in basketball terms that maybe changes your opinion on it. I think that all these things are also great off-season fodder, and I'll be curious to see how the smoke settles, the same way that we haven't heard a lot in terms of what are the trade conversations that everyone's now pushing towards. Everyone's going to be back. Nothing's going to happen. A lot of times it gets real quiet before something actually does get done. So, we're in the dog days. I don't think it's beyond the pale to say that Kevin Durant could be frustrated with the organization, with Sean Marks, with Joe Tsai, with Steve Nash, and also with Kyrie Irving. So I think there can be something to this. And it'll be fascinating to see if the Nets try to make a move that could indicate in some direction if there's any fire to this smoke, I guess I would say.
So what you're...
Can I say something before that goes? Sorry, Chris.
Yeah, go ahead.
I see what you're saying, Adam, and everything you said makes sense. I guess in my brain, with Kyrie orchestrating them to get here and KD sticking by him through that whole vaccine fiasco, and the organization relenting and letting Kyrie play part-time, like that whole odyssey last year, and then to get to the off season and you requesting a trade because you want, it's time to separate. It just seems like, I mean, of course it's possible, but I just don't, for some reason, I just don't see it. I mean, with their relationship, wouldn't they just have a conversation? And also I'm thinking we wouldn't know that conversation took place. Maybe it did take place,
Right.
and this was the outcome. So that's a good point. Yeah.
And it's also, too, by the way, a big factor in this can be for both Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, and why them maybe both coming back is the most likely outcome is because, okay, you're out there, you're trying to have these conversations, Kyrie. There's no way to get you to LA because Brooklyn's not going to take back the Westbrook contract, right? So all of a sudden you see, at least in the short term, what that landscape looks like. Likewise, even if Kevin Durant legitimately requested the trade for reasons related to Kyrie or not, that he just wants to be done with the organization, hey, we're out there. We're looking for those trade requests. But by the way, you know as well as we do, Kevin, that you are one of the best players in the game. So we need to be compensated accordingly. And as you look around and you see either fewer and fewer options, or that the teams that are willing to give big packages are not necessarily going to be top tier contenders, even with you on them, right? So that's been a big narrative, I think, over the course of this offseason of just getting to a place where you go, I get it. And we said this too on the podcast. Maybe you don't ultimately want to be here, but with Kyrie on a player option and you have 4 years of contract, a year from now, we can be right back in the same spot, having these discussions and looking around the landscape. And this is what I think a lot of Nets fans are hopeful for is give it a year, or, and I said this, start of the season, right? How do things look early? Where is this team going? How are they competing in the East? And if it doesn't necessarily trend in the right direction, you can revisit those trade conversations at the deadline, and you can find teams that are more desperate and more willing to lean in. Maybe a team in the Western Conference that didn't realize they could be a top 4 seed. Well, all of a sudden getting Kevin Durant makes us maybe a 1 seed, right? All of a sudden we kick open the doors on a championship window for ourselves. So it's unfortunately a long ride to get there, but like I said, we do it every day, and it does get exhausting at a certain point to constantly be speculating when we know one day you'll hear the news will break on a trade, or we'll get to training camp and we'll go to the regular season. And I've used this phrase a million times this summer. It is what it is, right? And when something happens, then we'll adjust to that and see what it looks like for Brooklyn and for these players. But so much of this is a holding pattern.
Man, I so detest it is what it is. I really do. It's the catch-all that allows you to skate accountability.
But I just mean like it is what it is in that like.
Oh, no, I understand what you mean.
Yeah. Just these narratives like we can try to dissect them, and like I can stand on what like my honest opinion, like what it would be best for the organization. Like I've had the difficult conversation of saying maybe what's best is. Now, not from a winning right now perspective, but maybe what the best thing is to just get Kevin Durant to a preferred destination, move on from Kyrie Irving and say, hey, this was a really rough experience and it didn't work out. And rather than maybe drag ourselves through another difficult year, we're going to push reset. If the Nets could move off of Kyrie Irving, nothing to do with him as a personality, everything to do with on the court, I would consider moving off of him and then putting something in place with Ben Simmons and Kevin Durant and saying, hey, Kevin, you're under contract. You tell me. You want to sit out. You don't want to play. Okay. But if we can get you on the court, we can make a case that you can still be here in Brooklyn winning, right? So there are hard lines that you can take. The is what it is that I can't get any concrete information from anyone to convince me that we know what it's going to be.
So as I'm sitting here, I caught myself doing the Windhorst. I've got one finger pointing in one direction, and like I'm doing this naturally, which is really hilarious. I gonna give you guys a peek into the show. Like I agonized over the title, and I normally don't agonize because like there's this juicy nugget that came across the wire that LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook had a phone call, right? But like when you read into the story, it's like, oh my God, they had a phone call. Like there's nothing there. But then when you look at this KD story, and you're like, yo, you know what? That sounds like it actually happened. If not directly from KD, probably from KD's camp. Nat, what do you got here?
Yeah, so I mean, listen, there's some Brooklyn fatigue here, because it's like I am part of some of those people that think that just run it back. I mean, you don't know what your team is, with Ben playing. You don't know. And, if all goes well and he's healthy and his mind is right, you have a really good team. If you look around the league, I don't see a path of where Kevin Durant can go. If you go to Miami they're gonna have to take Bam and do something with him. So how is that gonna happen? Then there's reports now that I'm reading that Miami, is going to continue to try to make a push for Kevin Durant. So then that team is gonna change. So is that team better without Bam? Than if you just stay put with the pieces that you have there. So it just doesn't make sense. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. We all can't say we know what's going on. Really, we can get speculation and all that stuff like that. But Kyrie, if Kyrie needs to go, where exactly do you send him? That's clear. Do you send him to Minnesota? Maybe for D'Angelo Russell? Is that enough? No. But he wants. But they want to kind of move on from D'Lo, but there really wasn't a trade there, so they keep him. But so does Kyrie move that needle? And they say, yeah, we'll try that out. It just doesn't make sense, regardless of how you look at it. Does it make sense in Dallas and that Dinwiddie and Tim Hardaway Jr.? I'm not sure if that makes sense, but they're gonna have to run this back, and they're gonna have to just be adults and say, okay, maybe we'll see how this goes up until the trade deadline, and we'll make our decision from there, or just play the year out. But I just don't see like a clear-cut destination for either guy. So I don't know. Brooklyn is just interesting to me right now.
Yeah, no, and that's, again, I get the fatigue part, but every day that it's a little bit different, because every day there's something different. It's not like where I'm getting ready to post up here, where everybody knows that they wanted to move Westbrook, but they couldn't. Everybody knows that once they realized they couldn't, that they were going to coalesce back into a functioning unit. And as we have transitioned from W to the Nets, we're going to transition now to the Lakers, because Hoopspaces Ryan is also up here. We'll add the Lakers into this discussion, as LeBron, AD, and Russ did have that phone call and apparently are now on the same page to run it back. We'll go to Ryan, and then we have Mark up here who's going to drop some gems. He always does. So I suggest that you follow him when he gets ready to speak. Ryan, good morning. How are you?
I'm well, Chris. How you been, man? Long time no talk.
Yeah, I'm busy. I'm hoping to be busier. That produces a paycheck.
Very nice. I'm kind of blocking out the noise from all this jazz. It's off-season typical drama. I'm just waiting for the chips to actually fall so we have something to concrete talk about. I would like to act on something you spoke of, because you did catch me by surprise a little bit earlier with the trivia talk. If we are going to, and I'm just going to have an open business meeting so everyone don't mind us. If we are going to go live with trivia, I think we should have a little dress rehearsal. So it is the top of the hour. Any chance you want to run a live dress rehearsal here with the people after we let a couple more people speak on this topic? I'm happy to do it. I have some questions ready.
Absolutely. We need more trivia in our lives, and I say that as an actual fact. Right? I grew up watching trivia shows. It's good for your brain, and what's good for your brain is good for your health and for entertainment purposes.
I've got a number of questions ready. We can run a live demo session now of the actual show. So as soon as you're ready, as soon as you've given the people a chance to speak that are lined up, I'm ready to go.
All right. Mark, you want to hop up in here and give your takes on either the Los Angeles Lakers situation with the phone call that means absolutely nothing, or do you want to get a stab on the KD Kyrie fiasco coming out of Brooklyn with the mixed messaging from the team and the players, or wherever you want to go? The floor is yours. I'm just happy you're here. Good morning. Uh-oh.
Oh, are you talking to me?
Nope.
Oh, I was just making sure.
Talking to my man Sifu up here. Unfortunately, he probably on the road. Hop in here and give your take, big fan.
My bad. I didn't know you called me, bro.
Here we go. All right. Whatever you want to talk about, man. It's all you.
I just be having questions, you know what I'm saying?
Go ahead.
Also, I want to shout out the dude, Adam, that was speaking. Supremely knowledgeable about the things he was talking about. And it's kind of refreshing when you get people that can talk that way, not speaking like matter of factly, but just being real objective in regards to all this stuff. And, it just makes me want to reach out to KD's camp, to kind of find out, like, what the hell is going on? Like, really? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the truth? And it's crazy because as smart as some of these NBA players are, you would think that they would follow the trend that Draymond has set right now with his, quote unquote, like new media stance, and just put their own people in position to really give some insight on these topics. You know what I'm saying? Like tell Draymond what's going on, or tell, one of your up and coming, guys, whatever, that's trying to be in media, like what's really going on. Was there really a phone call? Like, if there was this phone call, then how do they know, whoever reported this, how do you know that they spoke about let's fix everything, let's get it right? How do you know? Those are the questions when these pop up. In regards to Kyrie leaving or whatever, I'm honestly, I mean, unless Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook have some kind of beef, like I would love to see a team with Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and Ben Simmons. Like
What? Who is
I would love to see that. The amount of pressure that you would put on a defense when those guys get a rebound is ridiculous. Like, you think about this. I mean, people want to talk shit about Russell Westbrook, but his numbers were still all-star status. You know what I'm saying? Like, his numbers were still that of an all-star overall. His turnovers did not go up. You know what I'm saying? Yes, he had some real bad plays where the ball slipped out his hand or whatever. But here's the thing that bothers me about people when they talk about basketball. Is they talk about basketball from the outside and never really talk about what's really going on inside. The new NBA basketball is trash. It's absolute trash. It is the worst thing that they've done in the NBA in a long time. And I'm wondering why more players just aren't, really speaking up on it. I train NBA players. I work out in NBA facilities. I have these conversations. I use that basketball. It took me 4 months to get 3 of those basketballs because they had limited amount of stock on hand. Like, even the NBA teams don't have enough of the basketballs. Like, they don't break in well. When they do break in, they're slippery instead of being more grippy. You know what I'm saying? Like the Spalding basketballs, when you play with those balls, when they get brown, oh my God, it's amazing. It's amazing. Like, it feels perfect. You can shoot it from anywhere. The grip, like, we've seen videos of NBA guys playing pickup, of years past, and we've seen them do amazing things. It's that basketball. It's amazing. You know what I'm saying? So guys are making adjustments. I want you to think about this. We've seen Steph Curry hit 100 threes in a row. We've seen guys do amazing things. Why would Steph Curry shoot under 40% from the three-point line? Yeah, he did get bigger, stronger, faster, whatever. But why did he shoot under 40% when he's never done that before, really? And he's shooting damn near 10 threes a game. He's shooting 10 threes a game, basically. That basketball, it's hard to dribble. It's hard to grip. We've seen players lose it all day long. It's terrible. So when we talk about Russell Westbrook flipping and losing the ball, Russ doesn't have big hands. So where some of these guys have a lot more control of the ball because of the size of their hands, Russ doesn't. It doesn't take away from the fact that this guy's a Hall of Famer, top 75 guy. He's a triple-double king, whatever you want to call him. Put him and Ben Simmons on the same team and look at the kind of pressure you apply. Now, KD doesn't have to work as hard. KD will just run the floor and find an open spot, which we call shake up. He'll shake up to whatever spot is open. He'll lift or drift to whatever side of the court he wants to move to catch wide open, catch and shoot threes. KD at the end of the year was basically hurt. You saw a hobbled KD. He doesn't want to talk about it because he doesn't like to make excuses. But there's no way in the world Jason Tatum is blocking his jump shot the way he is. You know what I'm saying? If KD's not hurt. If you look at his movements, they weren't quick, they weren't precise, which is why KD, you see him quickly try to get into the off season, starting to work on his body, starting to work on simple one dribble pickup, jump shots, and so forth. Like, he played hurt, but he don't want to make excuses because he's seen that happen before, and he's seen how the media will spin that and say, oh, you're making excuses, you weren't good, the Boston defense, you're discrediting Boston's defense, and so on and so forth. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying, when it comes to that? Like, I really don't understand why people don't, like, where is Russell Westbrook supposed to go? Like, that's the thing that's killing me. Like, everybody's talking about, oh, we don't want him.
I'm not anti-Russ. Like, I'm not. I tell everybody he was the most consistent Laker.
Yeah, he leads teams to playoffs. Do they win
He
championships?
carried
No.
Washington Wizards.
Washington was trash before he got there. I don't care if Bradley Beal was there. Bradley Beal averaged his career high or whatever. I think it was his career high with Russell. They went to the playoffs with Russ Westbrook. And here's the thing. When you're in the second biggest media market, in the world, in LA, every single thing you do is going to be under a magnifying glass, which is why you can't get any good players to come to play for the New York Knicks because it's the #1 media market in the world. Everything you say, everything you do is plastered on the media. Think about this. Derek Jeter's off basketball. Derek Jeter is about to do a 7-part ESPN thing about, I don't know. What is it about? It is about him coming over there, him beefing with Alex Rodriguez. But they have 7 parts? I didn't think he was that interesting. So with
Bradley Beal, I want to say it was 31.3 career high.
Mark, lay off the captain, please.
No. And he only played 60 games, right? Russ, on the other hand, he balled out and basically dragged, especially in the last month, the Wizards to the playoffs. He played 65 games, 22, 11, and 11.
People don't talk about the fact that Russ had to change his game to play with LeBron. LeBron is a half-court player. Russ is a full-court player. Ben Simmons is a full-court player. Joel Embiid is a half-court player. They keep mismatching these players with the assumption that they're going to create something new. You're not going to reinvent the wheel. The wheel is the wheel. You don't have a fast car with bad brakes. You don't have a slow car with great brakes. It doesn't work. You have to align these guys correctly. You know what I'm saying? And also, a lot of these guys, these young players, are really being underdeveloped. Like when I go and I picked up 2 new clients, and I'm flying back and forth all over the country, and I'm like, wow, you have the potential to really shoot good, but I have to make small tweaks, I have to make small changes, and I'm just like, why haven't they fixed your footwork yet? Why are they allowing you to swing your
arm? You cut out, Mark. We'll wait for him to pop back in. DA.
Yeah,
there he is. You got. All right, you back.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff going on that with this NBA stuff that bothers me because I don't think people see it from the outside in. Russell Westbrook has never been overly efficient his entire career. He's never, like, if you looked on his synergy, which is the breakdown of just all the small details of his game, and they'll rate you as excellent, good, very good, poor, below average, whatever. He's never been a guy that's been better than just good. There's good, and then there's very good, and there's excellent. He's never been that guy, but he's always been a high energy guy, which is why they've paid him the money, which is, and another thing that bothers me is people are, and excuse my language, but they're shitting on an amazing person in Russell Westbrook. You talking about somebody that gives back. You talking about somebody that does more for his community than 99% of the NBA. Any community he's in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hate that part. You know what I'm saying?
He is given almost as much money when he was at Washington. He was there for 1 year as every player combined, not named Bradley Beal.
Yeah. Like,
think about that. Never there ever in one season gave more money than every player combined, not named Bradley Beal.
More than John Wall?
John Wall wasn't in Washington there. John Wall was in Houston.
I mean, like when John Wall was there.
Well, he wasn't there.
Well,
I said when he was.
I'm trying to think
1 year.
What initiatives did John do community-wise? I know he did, the necessary things, but John wasn't going to do more things for that community than he's done for his own community in North Carolina. So he has more, like he does more for his community in North Carolina than anything. So I mean, I can't knock him for that.
He does do more work in North Carolina, but he did some great work in DC. I think the biggest one that I appreciate the most was Bright Beginnings. Mm-hmm. It was the Child Care and Developmental Center. I think it was like $500K or $400K to donate to build that up. And he also did work in homelessness and more so housing assistance, rent assistance. But he wasn't like he wasn't public with it.
Yeah.
That's
I don't like how the media you know, it's okay to have conversations, but when we start really attacking these players, you know, I think there has to be some pushback from our community to say, you know what, the players of old in the NBA, and this bothers me too about the older players in the NBA, and I'm gonna keep it real, and I don't care. I'll say it publicly wherever, because can't none of them whoop me. I don't care how tough they was, they can't whoop me. They fought so that you could have free agency. They fought so the guys can get more money. Because I was in the era when I was young where it was tape delay. It was, you know, you can catch a game at 3:00 in the morning, or, you know, whatever, or they taped it and they showed it later or the next day or early in the morning the next day. You know, so all these abilities to watch the game on your phone, on your iPad, on your computer, on your TV, you know what I'm saying? Like, hell, at the gas station, you know, you might have a video showing. You never know. They fought for these players to be able to do this. And these players receive these absorbent amount of monies not because of the owners. They don't get it because of the owners. They get it because of their marketability. They get it because ABC, TNT, whatever, they're putting together a television package that is amazing. Here's the problem when we start talking about these players and their salaries. So you have Dame Lillard, who just signed a 2-year $120. In 10 years, there will be a player in the NBA that signs a 5-year, $500 million contract, which means he'll be making $1.2 million a game. What are people going to say if he misses 20 games? They're going to murder him.
They're going to scream bloody murder.
Oh my God,
they want the money.
I can't believe you. We pay you all. No, you don't pay me all nothing. My marketability pays me this money. The owners don't lose any money. There is no NBA team that is in the red. The Sacramento Kings, which none of you saw on television this year, outside of using your NBA package, is in the red. And Sacramento is usually where ball players go to die. So no NBA owner is losing money. So when people are talking about, oh, the owners are pissed, shut up. There are no owners pissed. And the commissioner said it. He's like, listen, Ben Simmons is one incident where we had an issue with whatever. That's an anomaly. That's few and far in between. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to shut down this money-making machine because of one player. We put in something, we'll talk about it or whatever, but we're not shutting down this money-making machine, which I must say, the new collective bargaining agreement, when it hits in 2025, takes the NBA's salary, their salaries, the money they're giving for salaries, from 40+ billion to between 75 and 79 billion. That almost doubles salaries per team in the NBA. So people who you guys think, oh, he's making $15 million a year for what? That same player is going to be making $30 million a year.
Shoot, 35.
Yes. So what are we going to say then? How more critical are we going to be then? Like, I've been telling players, hey, look, when you get that bread, you better get security. NBA security is good, but when you out with your crew, you better hire them Israelis, hire some off-duty police, better hire some people, because fans are going to be even more obnoxious, because now they're able to look into a guy's pockets and they're going to assume he should be doing this for this and he should be doing more of this, and they're going to be more boisterous, and media is going to continue to grow on a social level, which Michael Jordan never had to deal with. Remember this, Michael Jordan, in his greatness, boycotted the media for a couple weeks because they talked about his trip to Atlantic City, and he went gambling, and he got back in time and still was the first one to practice and the last one to leave. I remember that. They talked about it on The Last Dance. He was pissed. So he was like, you know what? I'm just going to grab my guy, Ahmad Rashad, and we're going to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? And can you imagine what Michael Jordan would be like dealing with social media right now?
Oh God, no, like that's a great point, because somebody had brought that conversation up. Had he made that infamous Republicans buy shoes,
oh my God,
he'd been canceled.
Yes, he'd be part of cancel culture. So when everyone sits back and they critique these players, we're talking about human beings. We're talking about human beings that are even more frail than before, because these kids in these generations, these young men and women, do not have the casual conversation. They have text conversations, which means you can take things out of context. You know what I'm saying? I might send you, what's good? And that can go 3 different ways. What's good? Like, hey, how are you? What's good? Like, I'm trying to holler at you. Like, what's good? What's like you tripping? What's going on with you? You know what I'm saying? It's up to you to figure that out. So that's what I'm saying. Like, we're putting so much on people who are, and here's the thing. You would think that the older this thing of ours, and I like to use that quote because as a lifetime hooper of 40,
You
44 years, 40,
You old.
45 years. I've been playing basketball. I've been in this space. Like this thing of ours is like, mafia, like is blood in, blood out. Like you would think that our kids would be more media trained, more media savvy. We'd have more situations where parents are putting their kids in speech classes. Like as a freshman in college, like I took a speech class every year throughout college, you know what I'm saying? Because I wanted to be an orator. I wanted to be able to speak to large audiences without hesitating. And I did that. You would think these kids would do that. They don't. You think their parents would get them in accounting class so they could know how to balance a checkbook or use a checkbook or even just balance the money on their debit card. They don't. They don't know how to because it's so much money that the kids, they don't know. So society has moved forward. Sports has moved forward, but the players are still in a simple space where they're not as savvy as we think they are. They're just regular dudes. And when we blow them up and critique them, their feelings get hurt. Michael Jordan's feelings was hurt. He was like, man, I dress up in a suit every day and I stand in front of you guys. Like you've never seen an interview of Michael Jordan without him perfectly dressed. He didn't do that. So he put on this show for the media, and for him, how dare y'all turn on me? How dare y'all speak anything negative of me? How dare you? So can you imagine Michael Jordan in today's game? He would not be able to operate mentally.
Got to get moving on to the trivia here. You can stay for the back end. We'll get you into more conversation. Big fan, Breeze. Sorry, I got to hit this button, bro. All right, we had to get rid of the old trivia music. I miss it.
No more Family Feud.
It was Family Feud. Yeah, I can't. It's copyright and stuff. But here we have this 70s jingle for a game show that we call NBA Trivia, hosted by myself and Hoopspaces Ryan. Ryan, are you available?
I am here, Chris. Now, generally, we do 3 players at a time. How do you want to run this since we have so many people up on stage right now?
That's a great question. I will probably, DA popped out. I will say Jay Cooper, Bukhari, and Rolo are our players. KP, Maliika, and Mark are just the audience.
All right. Can we verify that those 3 are here, available, and are listening?
Sir, I'm here.
Hello.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are.
All right. Chris, do you want to cover rules or do you want me to cover rules?
Go ahead and cover rules, Ryan.
All right. Welcome, gentlemen. In trivia, we play kind of a different route because we're all voice only. We're going to play that you get to keep your mic open the entire time because there's only going to be 3 of you playing with Chris and I as your hosts. So you'll get to keep your mic open. Go ahead and keep it muted for now while I'm covering rules. But once we start playing, when I start reading the question, your mic stays open. Your name is your buzzer. So if you think you know the answer to the question, go ahead and say your name to buzz in. Once I or Chris has addressed you and said your name, to say go ahead and give your answer, you'll go ahead and have a chance to answer the question. If it is correct, I will tell you so. If it is wrong, I will tell you so. If it is wrong, someone else has a chance to answer. Once all 3 of you have answered incorrectly, if that is the case, technically it goes down to the audience, or in this case, we do have other speakers on stage, so it's, I guess, a little bit different than normal. And somebody could have a chance to steal your spot on stage. Now, today, Chris, you want to play as normal up to 3 points?
Yeah, we can do 3 points. Shouldn't take that long.
All right.
These are
play to 3 points. Go ahead, Chris.
These are smart people.
All right. We'll play to 3 points, but again, your spot can get stolen if none of you answer the question correctly and someone in the audience can raise their hand, come on stage, and answer it correctly. They not only steal your spot, but they steal the points you had. Are there any questions about the rules before we get started?
Quick question. What are the categories? You're going to have categories on all that stuff, correct? What are the specific categories? So I have my mind right.
No worries. The
Basketball
category
general.
is basketball general trivia. I will tell you right now that I have mostly questions. I think the questions today are overall regarding last season, but I have some the warm-up questions. The easier questions I'm going to start with are old school questions about older basketball, general knowledge.
Yeah, don't worry
All
about
right.
trying to trick you, Jay.
That's okay. It's fine.
All right. Go ahead.
So Rolo, Jay, and Bukhari, you three have the pleasure of now going off of mute, and we will let Ryan ask the question, and we will be persnickety in our responses if you get wrong.
Sorry if it's a little loud.
Oh, this is good. This is good.
All right. If we're all ready, let's begin. The first question for all of you, and again, you are off of mute. You can buzz in by saying your name at any time while I read the question or when I am done. Your first question is, of all NBA players of all time, who has the highest points per game?
Bukhari.
Go ahead.
Michael Jordan.
That is correct. Michael Jordan with 30.12 points, followed by Wilt with 30.07, followed by Elgin Baylor with 27.36. So that is 1 point. Chris, you keeping track for me?
Absolutely. Ari's in the lead.
That was an easy one.
That was an easy one. Question number 2. Who holds the record for the most free throw attempts all time in the playoffs?
Jay.
Jay, go ahead.
That is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
That is incorrect.
Rolo.
Rolo, go ahead.
Magic Johnson.
That is incorrect. We have one more person to give it a shot.
Bukhari. 5,
I'm just
3, 2, 1.
I have another idea.
That is incorrect. It goes to the audience.
All right, so this is your chance as an audience member to raise your hand and steal if you think you have the answer to the question.
No Wikipedia, please. No looking up stuff.
DaMarion put his hand up first ahead of Mark. So DaMarion, congratulations. You get a chance to steal. Ryan, the question one more time.
Who has the most free throw attempts, the record for the most free throw attempts all time in the playoffs?
LeBron James.
That is correct.
Congratulations, DaMarion. You get that point, but more importantly, you get to choose one of the 3 people who are contesting or who are in this game and get to kick them out. So who do you want to get kicked out? And remember, you get the points of the person you kick out.
I'm driving right now, but the person who won the first question.
All right.
That's a smart move.
Sorry.
Very intelligent move.
There we go. So now we have DaMarion in the lead with 2 points. The third question. Ryan, go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much, Chris. The third question. Last season, only one player made more than 5,000 passes, almost 800 more than the person with the second most passes. Who was the player that made the most passes in the league? Your name is your buzzer.
Oh, I think you got this.
This is a tough one.
Go ahead, Ro. I heard you.
Go ahead.
Chris Paul.
That is incorrect.
Ball usage. Jay.
Go ahead, Jay.
I'm going to go with James Harden.
That is incorrect.
DaMarion.
Go ahead.
Is it Chris Paul?
That is incorrect.
Got another chance for a steal. Need everybody to put your hand down first because all y'all put them up before the question was answered. And 3, 2, 1, first hand up gets it.
Can you repeat the question?
That was a crazy question, by the way.
JF Cake is coming on up. The question in one more time, Ryan.
Last season, only one player made more than 5,000 passes, almost 800 more than the player with the second most passes. Who was that player with the most passes?
JF.
JF Cake for the steal.
Draymond Green.
It was not Draymond Green.
He didn't play enough games.
KP.
KP.
Trae Young.
It was not Trae Young.
Oh, this is a crazy question.
Because you're thinking, everybody's thinking of ball usage. That's what everybody's thinking of. They have to have the ball in their hands the most too.
All right. I think that's it. I don't think anybody else is going to get it.
I put my hand up.
All right.
Mark? All right, Sifu, what you got?
Lonzo Ball.
It is not Lonzo Ball, and I think at that we will call it. I will give you the top three. Number one, with 5,432 passes, the Joker.
Nikola
Number two, with 4,817, Halliburton. And in number three, LaMelo Ball with 4,664.
Crazy.
I knew
Yes,
it wasn't them Ball brothers.
Too.
I
told myself, I was like, he had to be the MVP, but I was like, nah, I'm going to go with LeBron for some reason.
You guys were all thinking of like ball usage too. That's what I was like, man.
Can I get a score update, sir?
We have DaMarion with 2, and everybody else a big whopping 0.
All right, let's go with potentially an easier question. Last season, again, everybody's mic is open. Your name is your buzzer. Last season, which team led the league in rebounds per game?
Rolo. Denver Nuggets.
Incorrect.
Jay.
Oh, sorry.
Jay.
That was my answer, actually. Memphis.
Memphis is correct. Memphis led the league with 49 rebounds per game, followed by the Bucks with 46.7, and the Jazz with 46.3. Whew, that was a lot of breath.
Jay is on the board, ladies and gentlemen, with a single point. DaMarion still has a chance to win.
I need half of that point, Jay.
KP, I was going to answer that anyway. You know what it was.
Rolo is not looking good. It is looking as though he's about to be off his diet.
All right,
whoa.
Continuing on. Mic's open. Your name is your buzzer. Next question. Last season, who led the league in free throw attempts per game?
Jay,
go ahead.
that would be the center for Philadelphia. I can't. Embiid.
That is correct. Joel Embiid with 11.9, followed by Giannis with 11.4, followed by Harden with 8.2.
We got a tie game. Jay and DaMarion tied at 2, and Rolo still enjoying that bagel.
All right. We could possibly have a winner on this final question. I don't think any of you are going to know this off the top of your head. Last season, which team led the league in loose balls recovered per game?
What the hell is this?
Yo, that's crazy, bro.
Welcome to real.
Wait. Say the question again. Say the question again.
Rolo.
I'll say the question one more time, and Rolo's
Chicago.
going to get the first answer. Rolo's going to get the first answer, but last season, which team led the league in loose balls recovered per game? Rolo, you get the first shot.
Yeah, I was going to say Chicago.
Chicago is incorrect.
Jay,
go ahead.
the Celtics.
The Celtics are incorrect.
Crap. That means I'm left, right?
You're the last one.
Okay, give me a crap.
Just pick a team. You got a 1 out of 20.
Just pick a team.
You can do it.
All right, read the question one more time.
Most loose balls.
Last season, which team led the league in loose balls recovered per game? The Celtics are third, by the way.
Okay. Were they in? Can I ask like some questions about
5, 4.
Just go with the team that's defensive. Go with the defensive team.
the Warriors?
I got one of them.
It is not the Warriors.
All right, we are open up for steal. The first hand.
KP.
Sifu beat you, KP. You're next.
Okay.
Sifu, your shot to steal.
Miami Heat.
It is not the Miami Heat.
KP,
Crazy. What?
your shot to steal.
I was going to say Miami, but I'm going to say Dallas Mavericks.
It is not the Mavericks.
We have a new player, Mohamed, for the steal.
Timberwolves?
It is not the Timberwolves.
That was a disappointing answer. We have one.
Hey, at least I got the third. At least I got the third team, so that's good.
I got to bring him up. I'm shuffling the board. JEHOVAH'S FLYEST will be up available for the steal. Jehovah, you have a chance to steal and win the game. What do you got? Absolutely nothing.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, give Jehovah a chance to answer.
Jehovah.
I'd go.
He wasn't ready, Chris. He wasn't ready.
He said Orlando.
Orlando.
It is not Orlando.
Man. Ryan, I have another answer, but that's okay.
All right,
I think I know who it is, but I already tried.
I think I know who it is too.
I'm almost positive I know who it is.
Yeah. I think these guys have already given an answer, so we might have to move on.
Oh yeah, no, we're done. Like they lost on this.
And Mark, go ahead, say yours. Say yours.
What was that?
Brooklyn Nets.
The Brooklyn Nets are incorrect. What was your other last guess?
Mine was the Bucks. Mine was the Bucks.
It's not.
It's not the Bucks. And none of you have
it's the Houston Rockets.
What's the team, Ryan?
Did you want to make a guess, Chris?
No, my guess was going to be the Bucks because I think Drew Holiday led the league.
All right. Much like the team leading the league in rebounds, they also led the league in loose balls.
Oh my God! I want to kill this.
Memphis led the league with 6.6, and the second place team was the Raptors with 6.3.
Ah, good stuff. Man,
all right, one more question.
0 winners. We don't like losers. We want winners. Mike Singletary. You got another question? Because I need a winner. I'm starting to feel depressed, Ryan.
Yeah, I'll get a question that people are going to be able to answer. All right, so this has got to be for the win. All right,
boy.
Your name is your buzzer. What year did the first Air Jordan shoe first become available to the public?
Jay,
go ahead.
1987.
Incorrect.
Oh.
You're not in, Jay. Rolo in the.
I want to play.
Rolo, that should give you a hint. Rolo, that should give you a hint.
Rolo.
That should give you a hint.
Come on.
DaMarion.
I bought the shoes.
DaMarion.
I should be able to answer this.
I didn't hear Rolo's answer.
I was alive too, so don't trip.
I bought the shoe. I should be able to answer. That sucks.
Rolo, your answer.
I got it.
Ryan, he said 88.
88 is incorrect.
DaMarion.
It's a year earlier.
You said available?
No, for sale, when it went on sale.
TJ is very upset at y'all, by the way. Y'all need to listen to the
TJ
Friday nights.
Would it be 84 or 85?
No. 84 or 85.
All right, when I ask for a year, I don't want a range of years, okay? I don't just say the 80s.
Just go with one, man.
It's just a number, dude. Like, we're trying to get you to win.
Literally, you're so close, by the way. We really gave you that answer.
Yep, it's time. Well, that didn't go as well as I thought it was going to go. I have to cheer myself up. Oh, man, look at Mohamed. He is just waving his hand. It's like, I know the answer. Why aren't you calling on me? Well, Mohamed, I'm not calling on you because we ran out of time for the segment. So sad. It's just super sad. Ryan, I want to thank you for your contribution today on this dry run here of NBA trivia. But like, I think we need to put it to bed for today.
Chris, come on. There were some tough questions. There was 2 tough questions in there, Chris.
No, I have never worn or bought a pair of Jordans until this year for my son because I bought them at Once Upon a Child, and even I know this answer.
Then say the answer, Chris.
I'm saying this answer. You will live for the day in shame. If I could get a cone of shame,
Fine, I'm Googling, Chris. I'm Googling right now, Chris.
Found you. TJ is right. Disappointed in such a bombed Jordan release question. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the amazing grace, because that is what is needed in this moment.
Not fair, Chris. I bought the shoes. I was in high school.
I feel you. But Sifu, this was bad. This was like shanking free throws at practice. Like, you just don't do that.
Are you saying it's LeBron James at the Drew League?
Yo,
Google works. Hey, Chris, Google works really easy. You know, just say Jordan's first year.
Yeah,
and it popped right up. So anyway,
shout out to the widow of Jackie Robinson. Today's her 100th birthday. We do talk basketball in here, but I grew up playing baseball first, and I just wanted to make sure
the price is more interesting than anything else. So.
Yes, I just want to make sure that people spend some time. ESPN has a great piece up there talking about Rachel Robinson, and I wrote a paper once, just like you did in high school. Rachel Robinson is a Black woman who is misrepresented and underappreciated in the lexicon of Black women in American history. She was Jackie Robinson's rock. There was nobody else for Jackie Robinson when he got home. There was nobody who was there to say, you're going to be able to do this tomorrow. You're going to be able to do this the next day. You're going to be able to do this the next day after that. There was nobody there other than Rachel Robinson when Jackie, in his moments of weakness that we all have as people, looked himself in the mirror and asked himself, could he do it? You know who told him he could? Rachel. Shout out to Rachel. All right, you see how that worked? Like I cleansed us of something that I know if TJ was up on stage, she would be aghast. I feel better now. I hope you do too. KP, what you got, man?
Peace to the room. Thank you, Chris. Just got, I'm Derail Rivas today. Listen, man, you fans out there be telling us, fans of a team, oh, you a bandwagon fan, you just knew about this, you just started cheering for him. What? We don't care about your shenanigans, everything you had to go through, every time your team failed, every heartbreak that you encountered, every disappointment that your favorite player didn't go to your favorite team. I don't care. Stop trying to regulate people's fandoms. And in the spirit of regulation, I came up with my own regulation for fandoms. Can I just spit out these first 10, Chris?
Absolutely.
Here's the rules for fandom for everyone that want to regulate people's fandom. Cheer for the people you want to cheer for. It's all right, right? Second, stop saying you're not a real fan because you didn't go through misery. We don't care if you went through misery. Keep your miserable self over there. Oh, these are my rules. These are my rules. These are my rules. Number 3, you don't have to cheer for a team where you live. Stop letting people tell you that. Stop feeling guilty because you cheer for a team that's out of your zip code, that's out of your area code, that's out of your Google Maps can't even find that team unless you have to scroll over 5 times. It's all right. It's okay. Number 4, you don't have to praise another player that's not on your favorite team. Who cares? I don't praise no player that's not on my favorite team. They can hit the bricks, especially if they're good, because they're trying to get to the thing my favorite player is trying to get to. They can hit the bricks. Number 5, criticism of a player on court only, or if they have any passive-aggressive stuff that they do off the court. That's the only time I criticize the player. I only criticize them for on the court, and that passive-aggressive, underhanded, sneak dissing, them little things that they do, liking, tweet, reposting stuff, that's why I criticize players. Number 6, don't touch players. Leave them alone. If you touch them, you're going to get punched in the face, and you deserve it. Number 7, leave players' families, members leave players' family members alone unless they insert themselves into the occasion, just like Russell Westbrook's brother did when he came on Spaces. Once you do that, it's all gloves off. Number 8, be yourself. Number 9, it's not your team. You're not a part of the team. It's not your team. And number 10, stop burning jerseys. That is my KP Views rules for fandom. Every Sunday at 8, we're going to be breaking it down. I'm going to be going seeing the movie of the year on Thursday. Nope. Jordan Peele. Listen to me now. Believe me later on. Shout out to Kuja Goody and the Goody Mob. And lastly, Marvel been feeding y'all nostalgia for over a year. I've been telling y'all, I've been right for 11 months, Chris. 2 more weeks, it'll be 12 months. I've been right on a lot of things on this app. And I got an Android. So just like Drake said, you got bodied by a singing dude. I'm bodying y'all with an Android.
Man, I don't know if you bodying anybody with an Android, but like I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I miss my Android phone.
Okay, Chris.
It was so much easier to text on it than it is on this iPhone. Like, I'm not even lying.
Because it's better. It's a better life over here, Chris. It's a better life.
Well, I don't know if it's a better life. It's just a different one. I want to give some voices in here. Mo, if you want to pop up, you can. I saw you earlier. Shout out to Mo. He does some great Knicks spaces. Shout out to Josh Rodriguez, ladies and gentlemen, host of the Dime NBA on Ball is Life, award-winning producer as well. If you know, you know. And if you don't, you should follow, because that's actually how good he is. I was a guest on there, and we had a blast. You know, he still doesn't appreciate the nuanced take that cereal is nothing but human pet food. But, you know, we all can't be perfect. I want to make sure that each and every one of you who do come in are appreciated. I know sometimes I don't shout you out. I try to do as best as I can. I want to give some more shout-outs to Van, Protein P. What's up, Tony? I see you as well. Also, Jess, she popped in, one of our favorite Raptors fans. Excuse me. And I want to give some shout-outs to some new people who have found us recently. Shout out to Zach Fox and shout out to Women of Basketball. Appreciate you guys finding and following. And, you know, hopefully we keep you entertained. Maybe you might want to come up one day. All right. I've got 4 hands up, and I want to make sure that we get these voices heard. We're going to go first to Jay Cooper. You heard him for trivia, but he hasn't given a basketball take yet. We got him. Then we're going to go to Coach O. Then we're going to JFK. And then we're going to close out with Speak On It Rolo, so he can tell you about the next 77 spaces coming up, which is a space that you need to listen to. This is one reason why I wanted to create what we've created, is because we needed a place to hear every fan's voice. Jay, your take.
KP, great list, by the way, KP. I just want to say that, you know, I don't slander Westbrook, the person. I slander him as a player. That's what I'm going to be clear about. I just think, you know, I think it's untenable for Russ to play with the Lakers any longer. I just don't think it's going to work. It didn't work last year. I knew prior to him coming to the team that, you know, when that trade went down, I just knew like the season was going to be not good, like immediately. And I think the biggest thing for me, Chris, is it's not that Russ was just so terrible. It's just his inability to take any responsibility for his play and his lack of playing winning basketball, in my opinion. That's what really bothers me the most. It's like when you watch that exit interview and he refuses to like look at himself and say, okay, what can I do to be better? Not even be better per se, just more of like what actually contributes to winning basketball. And if you actually look at his full career, I can honestly say I don't see any evidence of him ever doing that. I say prior to KD leaving, yes, but after that, you know, unfortunately, I just see him racking up numbers. That's it, and it's about triple doubles, and that's it.
See, I've always had a different point of view, and I think if I explain it this way, right, it might help you. A tool is a tool, right? Like if you go to your toolbox and you pull out a hammer, you know exactly what the hammer is intended for, yes?
Yes.
Russell Westbrook already knows what Russell Westbrook does. And Russell Westbrook probably knows what he is actually efficient at. And he probably knows he could put himself in the gym and do 1,000 shots at the three-point line. And you know what? Instead of shooting 30%, he might shoot 31, right? So instead of trying to work on something that he may or may not see himself really accomplishing seriously, he chose to hone in on what he is good at and become an ultimate purveyor of essentially full court basketball. And he's done it for
right.
So if you go into it understanding that there are players who have a malleable game, but then there are players who are actually tools and not in a negative sense, then you actually can start delineating like, hey, this is a tier of player that is above another in comparison, right? So like if we look at Steph and Clay, like Steph is the dynamic player. Clay is the actual tool. He had to work to become an elite defender to further enhance his playing ability or centered around his one tool, which was already elite shooting. Right?
That's fine, Chris. Can I just retort to that slightly? And this is not specifically around three-point shooting. There was at one point where Russ had probably one of the best in-between games. He used to actually shoot a floater at one point in time. That is gone. He no longer shoots that. He did not shoot that. He doesn't shoot it at all. He actually had a good mini pull-up game as well. And long time ago, he used to actually play off ball significantly better. Like none of that takes place anymore. So what is he actually working on to like contribute to winning basketball? I just don't know. Like then what is he good at? And if you say shooting layups, he missed the most layups last year by a wide margin. So I'm just not sure what there is that he does good.
Good at full court basketball. What Mark was saying is the reason why this doesn't work is in Los Angeles, every player on that team is a half court player, except for two, THT and Russell Westbrook. They literally thought that they could bring, Russ in and have a change of pace and then would be able to maintain that change of pace by bringing in THT. So you always have one transitionary player, right? That is what their bread and butter is, to put rim pressure and pace on the defense because Los Angeles plays at a snail's pace. That is what he does. This is what he's always done. It is what he always will do. And we understand this, that once he loses that athleticism, right, because he doesn't have a malleable game, we know it'll be the end. It won't be like Steph, who's going to have a malleable game as an off-ball shooter a la Ray Allen for the next 8 years, possibly, right? And that's the problem, is he was so damn good that people want to put him in this malleable player category when he's never been a malleable player, ever. Not even in high school was he malleable. He was who he was. It's like Bo Jackson. Like, we should be in awe of the actual physical athleticism that he has produced in the NBA for 13 seasons. Instead, the majority of people say Westbrook. That's all. Like, I get what you're saying.
The thing is, Chris, he did these things early on in his career. That's what's crazy to me. And it just stopped. And it's actually what's wild is when KD left and they put the ball in his hands, he just stopped developing his game after that.
Well, that's because KD left. And when KD was there, he had the ability to develop the game and actually have more open looks mid-range. When he left, he was the de facto ball handler. I
think it actually hurt him career-wise. In the end. That's what's funny about that, how that worked out. He got him paid, but it just, yeah.
Well, maybe
that's weird.
But again, like if you watch him, he's never really had a malleable game. Like his best shooting year was like 2019 in Houston with Chris Paul, where he shot like 48 from the floor. His best three-point shooting year was like his third year in the league. And that's at 33%. Like he's just not that dude. But what he is for 13 years, well, I won't give him the rookie year because he needed some experience, is the preeminent pace pusher in the league. Nobody ran as hard, ran as fast all game long. Like, that's what he's known for. And I just think that we need to understand and accept the fact that not everybody, even if they produce at an elite level, has a malleable game. And that's okay. It's just because he's ball dominant, we want it because 99 or 98 out of 100 ball dominant players at that production have a malleable game. Coach O, I want to get you in here. I appreciate you, Jay. And then we'll go to JF. We'll close out with Rolo so he can tell you what's on deck for 77 Spaces. Coach O, good morning.
Yo, I had requested when y'all were doing that trivia question with Jordan. Ain't the answer 85 with the shoes, ain't it?
Yeah, now
yes, it's on Google. It's on Google. Yes, I Googled
No,
it.
I didn't Google it. I knew the answer.
Yeah, we weren't supposed to say it. We were gonna hold. I was gonna hold it for a joke next time, but all right, 85.
Yeah, I was about to
Don't
say.
worry, Chris. People will forget, Chris. Don't worry. They'll forget.
That's
Yeah.
when the ones dropped. I know that because I got every number.
Yeah. What's good with you, Coach?
No, I just requested the answer that, but I wanted to make sure I was right.
Yeah, you're right. Cool. JF, hop in here.
Oh, hold on to those horns, Chris.
Ooh,
Give me
man.
1 second. God
That was
dang,
literally a quarter inch away from being pressed.
No, Chris. All right,
Literally
so
a quarter inch, man.
I know, Chris, and I was trying to get the phone in my pocket. I didn't know Coach O was gonna be so quick. But I'm just gonna say this, man. Here with some Heat propaganda. Listen, KD might be a little bit too much to give up if they're not accepting what we're accepting, and that's perfectly fine. Came here asking, what's the fire sale on Miles Turner?
There
I
isn't.
don't know. Damn it. All right. And then last thing, Mickey Arison did a smart move by taking the vaccination post out of his bio. So we can go ahead and free up some, I guess you can say, headspace for Kyrie, knowing that he's going to be okay down here in Florida where everything goes. So it really doesn't matter if you got the vaccination or not. Come down here and ball. Just keep on asking for a way out. I think we might be doing something. For us signing all these G League players, it has to be a move to pick up somebody big. So I'm still in the way to that. But appreciate you, Chris. It was a great show.
All right, appreciate you, JF. Make sure if you want some Heat purity that you shoot JF a follow. He takes Heat culture, seriously as a fan, and I appreciate that. That level
It's
of
a real thing, Chris. It's a real thing.
That level of fandom is a real thing. That's actually what I was getting ready to say. Funny story. This was the first year I didn't watch the Home Run Derby. Funnier story. I'm not watching the All-Star game either. The Major League Baseball needs to hire people from somewhere else to put on a better product. It's just bad. It's stale. It's like saltless saltines that have been opened and sitting on your counter for like a week. And then like you eat one because you're just that hungry, not realizing exactly what happened to the crackers. And like you go to take a bite and you're expecting that crispness and it just melts and mushes together. It's just not pleasurable. I'm going to watch some W instead. That's what I'm going to do tonight. All right, up next, we got Rolo. That's Speak On It Rolo, one of the 3 dopest Mavs fans you will find here on this here Twitter app. They host 77 Spaces. Himself and Jose, they came and said, hey, we really like what you're doing here. And I said, look, why don't you start talking Mavs? And they did, and it's grown, and it's wonderful. Rolo, thank you for everything you've done this entire season, whether you've been a listener or active participant, and now a host of your very own 77 Spaces. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Chris. Thanks for having me up here, man. I really appreciate it. It's been an awesome show. Shout out to you for always running a really, really good show. I definitely, when I don't catch it, I definitely listen to the recording. So, like I said, shout out to you. Shout out to everybody in the room. Hey, KP, this is an ode to your rules, man. We're going to be having a 77 Spaces tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central. Because I don't want to miss Maliika's show. So shout out to Maliika. So, but yeah, it's basically why and how and when did you become a Mavs fan? So this is kind of like an extension of the spirit of what you were talking about in the rules there, but in your rules. But yeah, we just want to talk to other Mavs fans because we are Mavs fans, and that's why we started this room, is so we can talk to other Mavs fans and just get that type of engagement with other Mavs fans and just see when they became a Mavs fan, their favorite memories, and stuff like that. So 77 Spaces, the best and pre-game, but right now there's no game, so off-season space. We try to host it at least once a week during the off-season, so shout out to my co-host. I think Jose is down there and the listeners. And also, you started the show off with a hypothetical, with a wonderful hypothetical for engagement. I answered in the group chat below. I think there are multiple ways of measuring greatness and everything, but I think a lot of people have spoken on this. But for me, I just enjoy watching people play the game. You know, I enjoy what Steph Curry has brought to the game. I enjoy what Michael Jordan brought to the game. I was fortunate enough to watch Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. You know, for me personally, Dirk Nowitzki. So, you know, Tim Duncan, Kobe Bryant. I just like to see the game being taken to the heights that it's taken. I'm really happy with the young guys that we got coming up. I really think that this is an exciting time for basketball. So I'm pumped, and I'm really happy to be part of this community. So, again, shout out to you, Chris. Shout out to everybody in this room. You guys want to join us? If you're Mavs fans, come through. Even if you're not Mavs fans, we welcome all fans. We love to talk to you. We love the interaction, and thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Make sure you swing through and check out 77 Spaces tomorrow. Like it's something that if you hear fandom from a different perspective, from a different team fan base, in a good atmosphere, you actually learn a lot more and you actually enjoy it a lot more. And what I found over the last season is that you become a better fan. And that's like what it's all about. Like that's why, you know, we're here, is we have a passion that we share for a game. And it's a simplistic game, really, if you think about it. JF, go ahead. You got 30 seconds.
Yeah, Chris. I just wanted to ask. Nah, you can't hit me with the horns, Chris.
Yes, I can. Like, what do you mean I can't? I'm the one with the soundboard.
Oh, gosh. Hopefully you got a new soundboard off of Amazon Prime Day. But I just want to say this, Chris.
Fortunately.
Oh, you didn't? Oh,
no.
But
bro, it's expensive, so no.
It is. That's why I got to save up my money for it. But my question is, wouldn't you? We're talking about, you know, guards 6'4", having a dominant performance. Wouldn't you put Dwayne Wade's 06 performance, I'll say, up there as top 10 finals performance? Because you gave a lot of credit to Shaq. I mean, come on, let's talk about it.
The actual question was point guard, not
point guard.
Point guard. And like I said, I gave you the capitulation saying if you just go guard, you can make the argument Dwayne Wade, although I believe that the team was still led by Shaq. Dwayne Wade was just a better player. That's my argument. But like I give you the Dwayne Wade argument because I understand his significance and his prowess during that 06 run. It's just that to be completely objective, Shaq led that locker room. Shaq led that team through the playoffs because Shaq was there before.
I mean, yeah, you're right on that, but
thank you.
I'll just say it's 15 strong, man. 15 strong. Remember that.
15 strong until 2 minutes into the fourth quarter when you're losing.
Chris, we still won that year. We still won. We're down 0-2 and we still won.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it from me. I had something like really witty and clever to add here at the end, and you know what? I've lost it. But I do want to share one non-basketball story that's left, and this is about inclusion. Okay, Carl Nassib came out as the first openly gay NFL player 1 year ago. He was met with tremendous support within the locker room and outside the locker room within the fan base that counteracted the hate that he also received. I always tell my son there's one rule in life, and the one rule in life is the same for respect and trust. If you understand that respect and trust can't exist without each other, you find yourself treating people properly, like a human being. And I just wanted to say, you know, shout out to Carl for actually doing something worth doing. Like, he literally put his entire passion, career, profession, paycheck on the line. So I just hope that another NFL team says, hey, you're a free agent. We'd love to sign you, just so that we can say we've progressed as a society. You know, I don't watch the NFL. I'm anti-NFL now, more so due to concussions. But this kind of matters to me as we get ready to celebrate 100 years of Rachel Robinson, and we start with inclusion there. We have to include everybody. So yesterday when we talked about AD in Washington, I received a couple of DMs from some people who are now blocked. I don't have that time to go back and forth explaining why you need to treat a human being with compassion, empathy, and kindness. Because it's real simple. It's what you demand. You yourself demand this. And if you demand it for yourself, be a decent human being and simply reciprocate. You don't have to agree. You don't have to like it. You don't even have to want to be around it. But have some decency and be a human being to your fellow human being. That's what I'm going to leave it with. One last thing. It is a different closing song today, because if you look up there, there's a tweet. I want you to say it with me.
I knew this was happening before it was happening. But I already knew.
Keegan Murray, your Summer League MVP. Let me hear you say it. You were right.
Good draft pickup, Chris.
You were wrong, Chris.
Haters hate. All right, everybody. See you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Have a great day.